across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on a good, hot Friday night? At least it's hot where I am. What's up, Dr. Jade? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Feeling good this week.
Good. Hey,
feeling
about
good.
time, right?
Yeah, about time. Kind of been under the weather, both of us.
Yeah, really. I'm feeling all right, too. That's cool, man. All right, so how's everybody doing out there? What's up, Chris? What's up, 40? Did you get my email? I wrote you back. Yeah, let me see. Wait for a couple more to come in before we go over the agenda for this week. A lot of news again, man. It's like a fire hose of news every week now. Of course, because Trump's in office, and when he does good, the lib nuts scream he does bad. When he does bad, they say I told you so, and yada yada yada, all that bullshit. Yeah. So okay, we can start to go over it. Let's see. We'll go into the main Jabber House. So the top stories tonight that we're going to hit is the U.S. military was 3 hours from the Iran strike before Trump announced the deal breakthrough. Whether that works or not, I don't know. But I know we got another story we're doing that's going to throw the liberals in chaos because it takes away one of their arguments. Here you go. White working class students mostly disadvantaged in Britain. We're going to find out why. It's a shame. Yeah, you guys are catching up to us. And then there's fraud. Jeffries says California's elections are secure, but Trump is rigging the midterms. Okay, picture of an idiot in action right there. Belfast is burning and why the media won't say why. We're going to get into that. Islamic activist Linda Sarsour, she's still here, aids House contender linked to blind sheik and an Al-Qaeda front. What is it with the Democrats and all these Islamic fundamentalists? What is it with them putting Muslims in office? Think about it. Every one of them has said, including Mondani, has said something about hating America, right? The inflation story the media will miss. Energy drove 60% of May's increases. Here you go. This is Trump just revealed a massive military secret that lowered our gas prices. We're down to $85 a barrel. People are saying, because you still have to go through the oil, which produces the gasoline that was at the higher prices prior to this. But you will see them come down now. In fact, in my state, I just paid $3.89 per gallon. And I'm in Pennsylvania, so that's good. Democrat leading Michigan Senate primary defended terrorist Muslim Brotherhood power grab in Egypt. Do you see a pattern here with the Democrats? It's like, oh my goodness, they're just hauling in. They're like, you know what? We're really not popular anymore in the polls. I know. Let's bring in a bunch of Muslim fundamentalists. That'll work. Yeah. So HUD, Housing and Urban Development, yanks federal funding from LA Homeless Agency, launches an IG investigation into potential fraud. So they just pulled the money. California is doing great. So here we go. Preach it, brother. I don't think you have, mate.
Our overseas listeners probably know all about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I should take that back because the BBC won't say anything about it.
I know, but you know what really sucks about all that? Is that let me say hi to some people. Do we have a bunch in? Oh, it's the same people. Everybody else who's here, start talking. It makes the chat so much more fun. Bash, you still there? It's good to see you, brother. Yeah, the thing about that is what's going on over there is like for every time they do show something on the news, like someone getting stabbed. Hey, what's up, Louie? Hey, Jimmy from Philly's in the house. What's up, brother? Yeah, every time you do see something in the UK of some Islamic fundamentalist or whatever stabbing someone, trying to behead someone, you got to think there's like 10 other incidents that didn't make the news. It's really bad. I mean, it's really bad over there. And the people, what's worse is I believe that the British people, that the Irish people, I believe that all those people that make that whole area up could actually do away with this shit on their own, and do it the Belfast way, right? 40, just do it that way and be done with it. But no, their government tells them, no, you're not allowed to defend yourself. In fact, if you get stabbed, we're going to drag your ass handcuffed through the gravel.
Because you said a mean thing. Yeah,
because you supposedly said a mean thing. I mean, come on.
Which we don't even really know if he did say.
Oh, wow. So your aunt's going to be, oh, wow, that's cool, man. That's pretty cool. Louis watching Channel 6 at the same time because his aunt is going to be celebrating her 100th. Is that today? Her 100th birthday? Happy birthday. That's cool. There you go. What's up, Anglo? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. I'm at a garage bar, liberal, I'm sure. Porta potties for bathrooms, but it's a brewery with great beers. Oh, wow. There you go, Jimmy. Way to go, brother. Are you in South Philly? Where are you at, Jim? That's funny for so many reasons.
And just for anybody who's curious, I do have a moment on my own this evening.
Yep, she got a moment for Dr. Jade moment tonight. We'll do that at the turn of the first hour, 7 o'clock our time. Let's go back to the list. Federal appeals court allows President Trump's backup tariff plan to continue. It's going to be better than the first one because it's legal. It's constitutional. That's why they let it go through. I think the other one was too. But Ukraine war has lasted longer than World War I as bloodshed reaches grim milestone with no end in sight. Did you hear that Zelensky wrote a letter to Putin saying, let's end war now? Yeah, okay. You could have ended it like 3 years ago, and you listened to Antony Blinken when warm diarrhea brains Biden sent him over and said and had him call actually and said, you can't sign, you can't go through with that because you got to say that Putin has to, one of the conditions is Putin has to step down, knowing he would never step down.
Well, I mean, it's very simple. We know why. A lot of money to be made in war.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they made a lot of money. I'm talking the Democratic Party. They made a lot of money.
Democrats and individual Democrats.
Yeah.
Do you know how much the Bidens skimmed back off of that?
I don't know.
And then
I'll bet it's when they made 31 million off China alone.
And then tell me
Hunter.
why Nancy Pelosi and entourage flew there on her private jet
Yep.
into an active war zone. You tell me why they were there. Come on. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do we have to like guess? I mean, good Lord, isn't it obvious?
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. People are finally, this is the Telegraph, people are finally waking up to the threat our open borders pose. Trump reveals Iranian regime called him begging to stop U.S. strikes. So the way that it usually goes is they beg to stop. We'll agree, and then they stop, and then they agree, and then 3 days later they fire rockets at Israel or one of our U.S. bases. That's what it is. He should just make a fucking glass parking lot out of it.
Yeah, the problem is, well, we can talk about it when we bring this story, but
Go ahead.
The government and the IRGC are at odds. They don't want the same thing.
Right, and the people don't want any of what either one.
People don't want either of them.
I know they don't want either of them. But you know what's really remarkable? Trump took out he took out their army, their navy, their air force, took out their missile sites. He took out their radar, right? Which is why they can't see those ships in the middle of the night in the dark with no lights on getting the oil through, because they don't have a way to see it because we took them out, right? Well, the Israelis did. And yet you got people who are over there that just want all of this stuff ended, and they're happy because Trump didn't blow them up. Yeah, he didn't blow them up. And you got to think he did all the things that he did. Not him personally, all right? Our military did all the things that they did. There were some civilian casualties, yeah. And I speak for one of the Iranian women that I saw online, and she said, look, there's casualties in every war. But we know they're going out of their way not to do that. You know, she said our own people, we had 30,000 people that were slaughtered by our own military, like the military police they have over there. When they were, remember not too long ago when they were all protesting? Well, they had 30,000 people in a day that were murdered. And yet we go out of our way to not blow those things out. We had military targets. We took them out strategically. Yes, there's some collateral damage, and that's unfortunate as hell. But it's a war. And then, you know, I was arguing with the libnuts all day on Facebook, having a blast. And they were, you know, saying like all kinds of bullshit. And I'm like, wait a minute. You would have rather, what would you rather do? Pay more for gas or get nuked? We weren't going to get nuked. Yeah, okay. All right. Then I on many of them, I said, I misjudged you. I didn't realize I was speaking to an idiot, but let's move on. So Bill Gates, the man we all love to hate, testifies Epstein tried to use affairs as leverage during House hearing. You think so? Like, he's telling us that. We've known that all along. He was doing the honeypot for Israel, for Romania, for England, for us. Oh, good Lord. The Dow surges 900 points after Trump says U.S. will soon sign a deal with Iran and oil falls. Nice. Over the last 48 hours, Canada has descended into radical madness. That'll be a good one. Hear that one. If Commander's here. Yeah, Commander, too. I want him to be here. Belfast is popping up. This is one of our themes tonight, guys. Belfast is popping off. Masked Irishmen declare war on migrants. Nice. Don't insinuate yourself. 40. Hey, Commander is here. What's going on, brother? Nah, you're good. Good. It's like 14 minutes. Don't worry about it. You stay the whole time. I love you. The left hates cars because they hate freedom. It's true. They hate anything that brings you any kind of freedom. Talk about Plattner's other perversions and creepiness. Leave his VA stuff out of it. Kurt Schlichter. Dems are plotting a revenge for when, not if, they take over Congress this fall. And all you got to do is listen to this stuff. It's all about revenge, guys. They don't give a rat's ass about you, the voter. They want to get even. Susan Rice, we played her on here where she came out and said, we're going after all the corporations that bent the knee to Trump. So they went on programs that Trump said is going to make America strong, make your corporation strong. They don't look, a CEO, a president, they have no loyalty to anybody but their stockholders. Sorry. That's the way it is. And being loyal to stockholders means that you got to do a good job for your workers. You got to do a good job for the product so that the community accepts it, right? And so this bitch is saying we're going after all the corporations that bent the knee to Trump. That's all you need to know on how to vote. And I'm very happy to explain it to anyone. Indefensible. Jasmine Crockett goes off the rails in jaw-dropping defense of Carmelo Anthony. If you guys don't know, this kid, he's an African-American, and he murdered someone, and now they're trying to claim that he is the victim here because he got a lot of time in prison. But they're trying to say, yeah, 25 was it?
35.
35. Okay, yeah. They're trying to say he's the victim here. And then they're pulling up like all these things. Well, this white guy here did the same thing. He got manslaughter and all. He only got 11 years. Yeah, well, there's a difference here. The manslaughter was different from the murder charge. There were different circumstances, but you can't explain that to a libnut. It was like $2. Homeless woman. Where do you see this? It's a video. It's pretty good. A homeless residents say they were paid to vote in Los Angeles mayoral race. Senator Rand Paul releases the timeline. He's got a hard on for Fauci, man, of Dr. Fauci's extensive contacts with Intel community. So in other words, he was asking that. Well, we know that he was getting, like, Rand Paul put it out. He was getting like emails from Facebook and all the other social media companies, and he was saying, instead of saying this, say that, and they were all lies about COVID, about Pfizer, about Maduro, about it all. He was rewriting things for them to say because they were being too honest, and he was literally telling them, what to say. Unbelievable.
I'm not overall a huge fan of Rand Paul, but there are a few items that I agree with his approach.
Well, yeah, because a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
A few items that I'm 100% behind him, and this is one. If he can destroy Fauci's reputation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If he could, I would go along with it. Mark Wayne Mullen drops facts that should make every Democrat crawl into a corner in shame. That's a good video. Senate candidate wants preemptive mental health checks for AR-15 owners. I wrote, shall not be infringed. James Madison, right? She's a nut. Here we go. Priest sounds alarm over Melinda Gates' multi-billion-dollar depopulation agenda. So she was the one we thought Bill Gates was behind. It was his wife, now ex-wife, that was behind the depopulation movement, which was kill a lot of people in third world countries. I'm not going to comment on that, but this whole thing that stirred it up was the video of Bill being on stage and talking about overpopulation and all that, and he said, now these countries here, and he's pointing to Africa, and he says, well, we can handle that with vaccines, and I'm like, what? What? Vaccines?
What exactly do you mean by handle, Bill?
Yeah. Well, what he meant was we're going to kill them.
Yeah,
with vaccines, because there was a guy that used to be on YouTube, and then he booted him off. He went by Where We Go One, We Go All. He was like a QAnon guy, but his research was impeccable on his videos, right? And one of the videos he did was he said, I happened to get a list of the Gates Foundation's company that does the vaccines, and I have a list of all the ingredients. And he scrolled down the list, and he goes, look at this, and he's going through and on the one it has formaldehyde. And he goes, guys, I looked up formaldehyde. And he goes, you know what it is? The embalmers use it. And he goes, and it can make your organs squishy, because then they flood the fluid through to get it out. Because I don't want to get disgusting, but he said, look at this stuff. Any one of these things could really harm you, and they got these in vaccines. I was like floored. I'm like, how could you put this stuff in vaccines? But here we go. So Trump admin pulls funding from LA homeless agency after massive taxpayer fraud was exposed.
This is my surprised face.
I know. USPS to stop delivering mail-in ballots in states that don't hand over their voter rolls. Good.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, very good. DHS. Now, you know how it is? Think about how they must feel, the libnuts, because for 4 solid years and then 8 years of Obama, they had things like this, except they were breaking laws and they were harming people. We're just trying to make the law right. You're delivering mail in, and you want to know something? There were federal employees, postal workers, who were helping the cheat. I know for a fact in Philadelphia, they were helping the cheat during 2020. They have, the big tubs. They were throwing all the mail-in ballots in the tubs, and they would go out to a van that was a political operative, a Democrat operative, and they dump them in there. And then I did a story, and I think I talked about it. In the lead up to 2020 on a live stream where this guy exposed how they do it. It's the old. They steam the thing open, right? The envelope, you pull it out. For Biden, you carefully put it back in. If not, you take your new one with a Biden vote and you put it in. That's what they were doing. They had thousands of operatives all throughout my tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, and Delaware. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And they were doing it left and right. And they were paying the mailmen to do it.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
We have to get rid of mail-in ballots. What I would like to see is mail-out ballots. I would like to get my ballot in the mail because, we may know about the president and some things on the ballot, but there's so much on there that you have to research judges and ballot measures. And if you just walk in cold to a polling booth, you can't vote correctly. You can't remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
They sent the ballots out so you could carry them with you, but to have them handed in person. I think they should be handed in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they should too. But I personally think all this gourmet voting is bullshit. Every one of them was created by the Democrats. I think the only people that should be able to vote by mail are military that are overseas. And okay, well, I don't even know about that. I think they say, it's my franchise, it's my right. Yeah, well, all rights have responsibilities, right? So if you're going to say, I'm just going to mail in, come on, guys. We had the spigot system that we talked about. I explained what it was. And mail-in ballots was a gold mine for that spigot system, for them to cheat. And that's why why do you think Nancy Pelosi made sure that every single American got a mail-in ballot, whether they asked for it or not? That is bullshit. Because they wanted to use them all to vote for Biden. That's what it was about. Come on, guys.
Yeah, and in a place like Colorado, we have, like Boulder, a university town, basically. And the kids, the ballots get delivered to the dorms, and people scoop them up by the bagfuls.
Oh, yeah. I know. Crazy, man. It's just crazy. All right, I'll speed it up. So DHS directs ICE to deport non-citizens who illegally vote in U.S. elections. I think they should do a time in jail first, or send them to El Salvador. They'll take them because they get money for it. Steven Crowder, this is crazy, this video. Steven Crowder goes ballistic on the race hustlers who claim Carmelo Anthony is the victim. I saw it and I was like, holy crap, I got to play this. Social Security projected to be insolvent by 2032. Thanks, Democrats, risking 22% benefit cuts. Can you believe this shit?
I sure hope not.
So I paid I got 5 years to retire, guys. I paid my entire life into this, since I was 16 years old. Working since I was 14, but that was illegal. But since I was 16 years old, and now they're going to tell me I got to take a 22% benefit cut? Nah. I'll join the Gray Panthers before that happens. So here we go. State Department dismantles birth tourism networks in Africa and Europe. Yeah, what they're doing is they come over here to tour through America, and they drop their kid. The Chinese do it all the time, but now we found out in Africa and in Europe they're doing it as well. Because then when they come back at 18 years of age, they take the kids home. And because of this birthright bullshit, which is all nonsense, it's not real, okay? Just read the 14th Amendment, for God's sake. It's right there, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And what happens is they come back to vote when they're 18. And they'll vote what? In favor of their country, right? It's bullshit. No other government would allow that. So Trump admin seizes websites allegedly used by Chinese agents to target classified U.S. info. Can you believe this shit? And it was all started under Biden. Sudanese invader tried to behead a man, was a Saudi-educated former cop from a prominent family. Okay. So we should love him. We should love him, right?
Lovely.
Come on. Trump nominates Jay Clayton for Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, to take place of Tulsi Gabbard when she leaves. Trump calls off Iran strikes, claims deal made. There's some good stuff in that one. Britain goes full airstrip one. Big brother is watching you. It's part of our theme this week. There's a new mainstream media in town, and we are on it right now. Okay? Even Fox is trailing it. YouTube is now the #1 mainstream media, and I'm glad to be a part of that. The media. Not, you know what I'm saying. Lawrence O'Donnell, stop the hammering, backs Iran over, I think it was him, wasn't it? Yeah. Backs Iran over the U.S. Bill Kristol frets a Trump takeover of the executive branch.
Excuse me. A question, Rich.
Sure.
What was Trump? What was our fair Mr. Trump elected to?
Yeah, he was president. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. And then the president is the head of what?
It's on the tip of my the executive branch. Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
This is what the libnuts do. They go, he wants to take over the whole executive branch. He wants, and Rachel Maddow, she's always out there. She says he wants everyone in the executive branch to answer to him. They already do. They work at the pleasure of the president. Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. The Grey Panthers. Do you hang out with the Cougar? No. Yeah, there is an organization called the Grey Panthers. And you want to see a group of Grey Panthers show up on your door at your office? Talk about ending Social Security.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
They'll go after you. Trust me.
I have a question, though.
But I'm fine myself because I did other things. But go ahead.
I have a question, though, and this is going to show my ignorance. Obviously, I know what cougars are. What are saber-tooths?
I have no idea myself. I know what the cougar is. What is a
Commander,
saber-tooth? Commander, you have to explain that to us. What's a saber-tooth?
We know what cougars are. What's a saber-tooth?
Saber-tooth urban. Let's see, what is it? What is it? Specific as a Marvel cat. No, I have no idea. Saber-tooth smut on Tumblr. Oh, good Lord. Oh, soft sex with Victor Creed Hedicon. What the hell is that? No, I don't even want to get into it.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
It'll just haunt. Yeah, Herman Munster. Yeah, I like what's his name? I call her Richard Maddow. Mark Dice does that too. I call her Richard Maddow. There's so many. We'll get to them when we get to them. So
okay,
let's go.
Commander answered.
Oh, did he? Hold on. Let's see. So what did he say? Sabertooth is much older. Oh, okay. I get it now. Holy mackerel! Yeah. Is that? Are they akin to the meth head?
Okay. We both agreed we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. I hear you.
Let's go on. Let's move on.
All right, so here we go. Let's do this one first. Oh, and guys, I want to say hi to the people that are notable. 42 is in the house. Thank you, sir. His link is down in the description every single week. So is Robin's from Courage is the Cure. I will be on 40's show tomorrow night, guys. Please show up. If you have something else to do, cancel it because it's going to be great. Trust me, I can't leak anything. It's going to be great. So do me a favor and make sure you're there tomorrow night. Appreciate it, guys, and thank you, 40. Let's see. Let's go to this one first. Let me get rid of that. No, thanks. White working class students most disadvantaged in Britain's education system inquiry. Government statistics have revealed that white working class students are the demographic most disadvantaged by the British education system, despite receiving next to zero attention in the broader zeitgeist. While much of the social or societal energy is placed on improving a lot of ethnic minorities, it is, in fact, working class white boys who are actually in need of attention and assistance. In our country, it is boys. Because our government years ago decided that they were going to put an emphasis on girls, which is why now you have more women that are in college. But you know what? A lot of the men are like, you know what? I don't think I need college to do all right. But what it looks like here is that it was an intentional thing to take care of your minorities, ethnic minorities. Many of them, I don't know if they're illegal migrants or if they're legal just walking over the border anymore. I don't know what your government did. But people like that over the people that really run the freaking country, right? Isn't that lovely? So according to government figures shared with broadcaster ITV as part of an independent inquiry into white working class educational, outcomes, white working class students are nearly twice as likely to be absent from school compared to other groups. The report also found that white working class students were 2.5 times more likely to be severely absent or missing over 50% of lessons. Why do you think that is? The statistics from the inquiry also revealed that 34% of white working class students were in need of special education assistance, as opposed to 19% among all other groups. And let me say this, guys. In this country, about, 15 or 20 years after they started that crap against the war on boys, if you will, books were written about it, right? You had a thing in Colorado, in Columbine. And they say that they believe, like I've heard shrinks talk about it, and conservatives and liberals, and they agree that, yeah, you know what? When you tell young men that they're not going to be the captains of industry, and that's why you got to pay attention in school and you got to do everything right, because that's what we always, I mean, in our culture, we always told the boys, you know, you're going to take over the world someday. And the girls, until the feminists came in, and the girls were like, you know what? You're going to run a hell of a household. You're going to raise wonderful kids, and you're going to have a good life. And then the feminazis came in and screwed it all up. But when they went further and started saying, we're not really going to pay that much attention to the boys in K through 12, and then in college, we'll let them fend for themselves. And that's what they did for a lot of years in this country. And so when you tell young men that, you know what, we don't even really give a shit about you. We don't care if you come to school or not. We don't care. You know, we just don't care. Because the liberals believe that the world, even today, is an advantage for men over women, when it clearly is not. Most managers in most corporations are women today. I don't know if y'all remember that, or if you know that, right? But most of them are. It's not the other way around, right? And there's a lot of jobs that used to be done by men only that are now women only. I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying that this was intentional. And so they said that when you have young men, right, who have they don't have any goals, they have no idea how their life's going to turn out. They're constantly told, like over here, they're told that, you know, they go, you're never going to be able to buy a house, which is true, because, you know, the baby boomers screwed that up for everybody like that. And I'm a baby boomer. I'm the last one of it, but I didn't screw anybody up except myself. And so when you have that, you got guys that hang around and do, you know, just sadistic shit. And so these guys got into guns. They got into cult of personality stuff. And then look what happened. Right. So I'm not saying that program did it all, but it did a lot of it. And then you have people like the shooter down in Florida. I forget his name. Was that Douglas Stonewall, a school down there? Well, that kid had the cops come to his house. I think it was less than 23 times. Okay, for gun brandishing. You're not allowed to brandish a gun here, right? And shooting in his backyard and all that. And they should have immediately taken all his guns from him, but they didn't, because Barack Obama and his wingman, Eric Holder, who was his attorney general, they created a federal program that stopped what they called the high school to prison pipeline. And the way they did it was they gave special extra grants or extra special grant money to any county in Florida. That was the target state where they were going to start it. And they said that they wanted to give a ton of money if they were able to lower the arrest rate of the kids within those age groups, right? And so the way they did it was they just stopped reporting it. They didn't they
just stopped arresting them.
They stopped arresting them. They stopped reporting it for certain types of crimes. That's the only way they could do it, right? And so this kid goes out and shoots a whole school up because of that policy, right? So I mean, in other words, I'm trying to say I don't blame the kids, because I blame the government that actually manipulated and nudged those kids. The Obama administration had a guy, what's his name? I forget his last name, but he was known as the nudge czar. He would come up with policies so that the fascists in the Obama administration didn't have to force you to do it, but they would nudge you there. So in other words, they would make like one of the things they wanted to do was get rid of the suburbs, because Barack Obama thought the suburbs were racist, just like Pete Buttigieg thought that roads were racist. Obama thought that the American dream has been to get out of the city and buy a nice place in the suburbs or go rural. That's a bigger dream, right? And Obama thought that it was racist because when you leave the city, you bring your tax money with it. And the only people left there, according to Obama, because there's no poor white people in cities, right? So he thought that that it's racist because then the poor minorities in the city have shitty schools and really bad police forces and stuff like that, right? So what they did is the nudge czar came up and he said that he wanted to make it so that they would withhold funding to fill potholes in suburbs and whatnot. And they would make it so ridiculous to try to, excuse me, to try to get to work in the city, that what they were going to do is make it things like that so that they would go, you know what, screw it, we're just going to buy a house in the city. And that they would try to do, gentrification inside certain parts of certain cities in America, and that they would all move back so that they would get their money back. This is how crazy these people are. So election secretary Phillipson,
how did that work out for you?
It didn't really work out that well because people said, we're not stupid, right? And then COVID hit and they were all working remotely anyway. But there was a lot of things that they did. They gave special tax breaks if you moved into a city from the suburb. I mean, it's crazy shit. None of it constitutional. Election Secretary Phillipson said that it was clear that white working class kids get amongst the worst outcomes in the education system. Yeah, are they asking why? Quote, that's not to say there aren't other disparities, and we absolutely will tackle those too. One of the biggest indicators is obviously class background and the amount of money that your family has. That's why tackling child poverty is such a big priority for this government. Again, why? Why is it like that? Because your government is screwing these people. When pressed on what government intends to do to revert, see, these same people, they know that the government screwed things up, but then they expect the government to fix it. And that's how some politicians really want it. You know, they're called service politicians. You know, they'll screw up Social Security so bad that when the old lady says, I didn't get my check, and he goes, oh, here you go, I got your check for you. Remember to vote for me. Tell your family. You know, this is what they do.
Yeah, how many problems have Democrats solved that they hadn't created themselves?
That is exactly right. It's a thing for them. It really is. Let me see. Quote, I think I do have to be honest in saying that we do have some big ideas about things we want to do to make this work better. But if we had all the answers, we would have solved it by now. Yeah, okay, all right, whatever. Two-tier. Equity law used to block middle-class white men from government. I got to read this. Hold on. I thought I put it up. No. What am I reading here? I tried to go up. Skip it. While not often discussed in the legacy media or commonly addressed by establishment politicians, the fact that white working class students, boys in particular, have fallen behind other groups in terms of academic success has been well established for years. Some, including former Oxford University Don Professor Peter Edwards, have postulated that it is in part a result of it becoming a taboo topic among government and educational officials, given that it is only politically correct to discuss the supposed plight of women or ethnic minorities in Britain. In other words, shit on all those white kids. That's what it is. Because now I guess you're a racist if you try to help the white kids because you're supposed to be helping women and all the minorities. And guys, it's not just you. It's that way here too. Excuse me. However, Professor Edwards previously warned Parliament in 2020 that if not addressed, the country is facing potentially grave socioeconomic and socio-political consequences in artificially creating an aggravated segment of the population, particularly if other races continue to be provided with DEI-style positive discrimination efforts to give them a leg up. In other words, people can see from a mile away when you are using racism to say that you're fixing racism. And the majority of these people were not racist. They were accused of racism. That's a different thing. It doesn't mean you were a racist as a group of people. Okay? It's not what it means. And yet they make a policy out of it to screw you when you're white to make up for past indiscriminate or discrimination. Okay?
Who was it? Was it Farrakhan who said the only way?
No, it was Ibrahim. What was his name? Damn.
Kendi,
he wrote
Kendi. Ibrahim Kendi.
Yeah.
The only way to solve current racism, the only way to solve past racism is for current racism.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's Ibrahim X Kendi.
Yeah.
Was his name. And what the hell was his book? I don't want to advertise this book. He's a piece of crap. But yeah, well, he said the only way to solve past is to have current, and the only way to solve current is to have future racism against that. That's literally what he said, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's a lunatic, and he calls us the racists, right? Quote, this will surely lead to the disturbing narrative of a vicious spiral downwards. This is an utterly critical point. We must not only utilize the huge untapped potential there must surely be in this group, the white working class boys, but also recognize the very real threat to the destabilization, of the very fabric of the country, he predicted. Among major parties, only Nigel Farage's Reform UK has vowed to fully repeal all DEI. It should be called DIE, because that's what happens to any organization or business when they implement it, and anti-white discrimination from the books in Britain and replace them with merit-based systems. You know, these fucking textbooks companies, they're making billions of dollars because every time you get a communist, they want to change all the truth and put in their commie lies, and it goes the other way around when it comes out the other side. When you get conservatives in there, they try to put the truth of history back in with all its blights and all its warts and everything, right? I think we know where we're going with this one.
Oh, real quick, message to Linda. I see.
Hey, Linda,
in the house.
What's up, girl? Go ahead.
Message to Linda. I do have a quick moment. You always ask.
Yeah. What's up, girl? How you doing? Let's see who else. I gotta check something. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, sorry guys.
Oh, I think this is good.
What's that? Which one?
I think you missed one comment from Commander after the Sabretooth explanation.
Oh, okay. Let me go back up. See, there it is. The Sabretooth. Great Panthers.
Right after that.
Let's see. Sabretooth is much older. Let's see. It's like going to the Army and Navy Club for grab a granny's night.
That's good. Thanks, Commander. I
can leak the song. You want me to play it? Not the video. You want me to play the song, but not the video? I'll do that. Confirm that, 40, if that's what you're saying, because I don't want to blow anything for you. There you go. Yeah, I'll play it. I don't mind doing that. Let's go. Let's see what's next. What's next? Let's come up. Share screen. Jabber House. Okay. And then there's fraud. Let's go. It's twitchy. So it's Jeffrey says California's elections are secure, but Trump is rigging midterms. Yeah, okay. The man that constantly complained that the 2020 election is rigged, he wants to rig elections.
Okay.
This he's not a serious guy.
So overnight, 25,000 ballots come in, and they all go for the socialist.
Right.
Some for Karen Bass.
Right.
But virtually none for Spencer Pratt, who ran a wonderful campaign.
Right. Yeah, he did. He actually did. Did you see the video he put out? I really don't think that it was AI. I think it was real. He put something out where he was saying, I've got evidence that's going to make Nathine, whatever her name is, going to have her be charged with crimes. He goes, because we have evidence of the things that they've done just to get to where they are now. Crazy, huh?
Believable.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Hang on, I'm trying to find. Let's see. Is this it? Is this it? Hold on. I gotta play something. I'm gonna play the song. Yeah, this is it. Cool. I'll play the song. Guys, this is a song that I created for 40. And because I'll tell the story tomorrow night, but I have an affinity for the Irish because my family. And after watching him and reading posts and also a big part of it, 40, you don't know this, is when the show's over, we sit in the back in the studio and we talk for like 2 more hours. You know, me, Paca, Sansom, and 40, right? And just I have a blast. I have a good time. These guys are up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's like 11 o'clock for me. So I appreciate that. But I learn a lot from that. Plus, I've read a lot because of the story that I'm going to tell tomorrow. But I did a song for him, and he created one of his usual fantastic videos from it, and he sent me a copy. I won't play it; it's tomorrow night, but I will play the song right now. And it's basically a song about 42. And let me go here. I have it. And the song that I created, the title I gave it was 42 in the Border Dust. Okay, so I'm going to play it now. And we'll see. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Okay, ready? Here we go. Oh, you want me to show the video? Oh wow, dude! No, that's your honor. You do it tomorrow. All right, let me get it right. Do you want me to show the video? I would hope that I would think that you would want to do that, brother. Let me know. I'll play it if you want me to, but I would think you would want that distinct honor. I'll just play the song. I'll play the song tonight. How about it? And tomorrow night you play the video so they see what you put into it. All right? Is that a deal? I'm going to wait. Premiere. Yeah. I will. All right, 40. Okay. Thank you, brother. We're going to do that. Let me go get it. That's awesome. So let me see. Here it is. Last update. Let me get it. Okay. All right, here we go.
You've got the audio clicked up right now.
What do you mean?
The song you were just.
I know. I'm about to push it. I'm about to push this. Yeah, don't worry. I'm about to put. Now I lost it. Damn you! Where did it go?
What did I do?
I know. All right, here we go. So I'm going to share this. All right, ready, guys? Here we go. I forgot you can't see.
Boots in the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in a gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting no ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot. Every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot. Every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. 42. 42.
Awesome. That
Nice.
is awesome. That was awesome.
Nice.
That's like classic 42. You know, the way he does his videos. That's why I usually, now last week I had to go away for a little bit and then I came back. But that's why usually I stay till the whole end because I get to see all the videos that he does the whole time because I love them all. And I know everybody else loves them too. In fact, Jade, you haven't gone to one of his shows yet. In fact, people call out, like at the end, they call out which one they want him to play because they have favorites. It's awesome, man. It's really awesome. Thank you, 42. I appreciate that, man. Bless you. Yeah, thank you for doing the video too, man. That's awesome. Yeah, he gave life to the song. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was glancing down at the comments throughout the whole time we were playing the video. Nobody commented anything.
I know because they're all watching. Yeah.
They're all watching.
What did you guys think? Be honest. Come on.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. I thought it was powerful.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Oh man, brother, you're welcome. And thank you for doing a video, man. Yeah. I just one day said, dude, I wrote a song about you and I played it while we were sitting in the back, like I told you we do. And he was like, oh man, he goes, I want to make a video out of it. I didn't think he was going. I didn't do it for that reason. I just wanted to show him a song I wrote for him. And then, so here it is. It's pretty cool. It's cool.
Are we going to finish that story about Jeffries?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Because I want to get to or maybe we should just do the Belfast one now.
Yeah. Louis, that means tomorrow night you're going to have to watch 42's show. That's what. No, I'll send you the link, bro. As 40 said, it's not state secrets. And the finish for cool. Yeah, I saw the one. I think I was right. I won't say it though. Yeah, the one.
Maybe we should do the Belfast is burning story next.
Yeah. Let's do that to keep in with it.
Keep in with the scene.
Yeah. Let's do it. And 40 share. I won't share it. 40 shared. He may do it tomorrow night, but he shared a couple of things about a couple of the videos in his video, and I thought it was so cool. The stuff that he told me about it, that was going on there. I had no idea. It's from Town Hall. Josh Hammer. Belfast is burning, and the media won't say why. Of course they won't. It is. Of course they won't. So, how would you like to be like a cop, and your bosses say no? You have to shit on the people that made this country and culture. and all their ancestors. And you got to like blame them instead of the people that come in and do not want to assimilate, to become Brits, right? How would you, I mean, we feel you guys. We do. Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I've heard a theory that the reason these migrants are taking advantage is because they've noticed that the upper classes don't respect and don't take care of what they consider beneath them.
Right. Yeah.
And
well, it's the same thing here.
yeah, I guess what do you call them? 40. You can help me out on this. Call them tarts and yabos.
I don't know.
And
not up on them.
yeah, I take no responsibility for that, but yeah, oh, it doesn't really matter if a tart gets raped. She's not a, you know, she's not a respectable woman.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I'm gonna definitely be there for that. I'm definitely going. I can't wait. I'm going to be, guys. Again, I'm going to be on 40 show tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking about this, and it's gonna be fun, I think. And Paco's going to be there. Sense I'm going to be there too. I know Paco will be there, which will be cool as well. But yeah, all right. Let's get into this. Nearly 3 decades after the end of the Troubles, Belfast, the capital of Northern Ireland, is once again on fire. On Monday, June 8th, a Sudanese asylum seeker, horrible story, attacked a local man on the street with a kitchen knife, slashing him across the face and neck. Let me say this, too. There was a woman who shouted, I heard the video. There was a woman who shouted, "Hey, get away from him, get away from him." And I'm like, okay. You couldn't call the police? You couldn't throw some hot oil on the guy? I mean, come on. Dude's like trying to behead someone, you know. I'm not going to blame her for not stepping up, but wow. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. That's England, Dr. J. We don't have tarts. LOL.
Okay.
Yeah, we call them libtards, but I could call them libtarts here. Yeah, I could do that. So, all right. So the Sudanese asylum seeker. Yeah. I want you to accept me to your country. Thank you, please. I'm going to slit one of your throats. He attacked a local man on the street with a kitchen knife, slashing him across the face and neck. Graphic video of the attack, which we can't show. Graphic video of the attack, which blinded the victim in one eye, rapidly spread online. The suspect, identified as Hadi Aludid, I guess, has been charged, and who cares, has been charged with attempted murder, possession of a knife in a public place, and making threats to kill. In response, Belfast erupted, which, thank freaking the Lord, I say. You know, I mean, you know what? We have Leanne Naiman, who comes on the show every now and then. You guys know her, and she tells me, like, she always tells me things like, you know what, Rich? They don't put up with that shit down here in Alabama. She goes, somebody like that. She goes, I'm gonna shoot them, and my neighbor will pull out a grill, and someone else will bring the dogs and the burgers, and I'll bring the booze. She goes, and we'll sit around and watch the motherfucker bleed out. And I suspect that in Belfast, it's the same way, you know, that you don't mess with one of theirs because you will be annihilated as best you can until the cops come. But anyway, riots took to the streets, hurling bricks and bottles at police, torching vehicles, and burning homes in some Belfast neighborhoods with large migrant populations. Police deployed water cannons. Families were forced to flee burning buildings. The Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service responded to 62 incidents in a single night. Yeah, you know why? Because it was finally bad enough and people had enough. They've had enough. At least 27 people have been left homeless. Lest there be any doubt, arson, mob violence, and the burning of innocent people's homes are all indefensible acts. Live over there. Mobocracy is here, there, and everywhere, and the enemy of civilization. Let me tell you something. If it was mobocracy, okay, then you would have the same thing happen when, you know, it's like chicken cacciatore again, you know, when everybody go nuts over every little thing. No, this isn't mobocracy, you assholes. This was something that happened after an entire series of things for a decade. We're building up and building up, where you have what over here would be called the Bubba effect. And the Bubba effect is when enough of people of a society, right? And I'm not talking the whole country. I'm talking a society, Belfast, if you will, London, if you will, right? when you have enough people of that society that realize and they learn that your government doesn't give a rat's ass about you and you're paying taxes and you're not breaking the law and they just don't care and they're not going to do things to help you. In fact, they're doing things in the opposite direction. You start to take things into your own hands. It's not vigilantism. It's defending yourself. And if going out and beating the shit out of people that represent this kind of shit that's going on in a country, that I would call that retaliation. I wouldn't call it mobocracy. Not at all. It's completely different. It's a different animal. Yeah, we had no other choice. The people complaining said about bombs they plant. Yeah. In Philadelphia, 1980, Osage Ave. Yeah, with the MOVE members. I interviewed one of them on death row. I did. Let's see. Less to be about arson. People's homes, themselves. Okay, sorry, but that hopefully obvious point aside, here is the question the Western press refuses to ask: why does this keep happening? Very simple question, right? Because it does keep happening. Almost exactly a year ago, Northern Ireland convulsed in riots after 2 Romanian teenagers were charged with the attempted rape of a schoolgirl in Ballymena. I don't know. Pardon me. I know I screwed it up. The year before that, riots swept across England itself, Southport, Rotherham, town after town, following a mass stabbing at a girls' dance class by a Muslim terrorist. I think the operative keyword is right there. By a Muslim terrorist. Who was the guy above? By a Sudanese terrorist. Okay. The pattern is not difficult to discern. A horrific crime or series of crimes is committed. The perpetrator is a migrant, often some variety of asylum seeker. The government responds by condemning the violence of an enraged public while studiously avoiding any reckoning with the underlying policies that generated the crime and the inevitable subsequent rage. The Pravda press dutifully follows the official regime-approved script. That's a powerful statement right there. Because over here, every time a Muslim did something like 9/11 or any other time a Muslim does something, the press says, well, we just want to make sure that Americans aren't going to go crazy and start attacking people who are Muslim. Well, you didn't say anything about people that aren't Muslims should beware of people that are who want to kill them. And we hope that they don't go out and attack. I mean, it's always one-sided, and it's intrinsically stupid what the press says. This week's coverage has been instructive. The framing and outlets after establishment outlets has been nothing if not predictable. Anti-immigrant violence, far-right protesters, racist riots. Northern Ireland's first minister called the rioters thugs, but had very little to say about the fact that a Sudanese national blinded a constituent in Northern Ireland's largest city. And you know why this is? You guys are in phase 2. We are still in phase 1. I hope to God we never get to phase 2. But I'm going to read a lot of stories tonight about how Democrats are bringing Muslims in as candidates. So it's happening, right? But I hope the good people of the United States are smart enough to say, fuck you, we're not putting up with this shit, and we'll throw your ass out, which is what you guys got to do. You guys, and I know you know this, okay? I'm just talking to the other people. You guys got to say, you know what? Fuck party, fuck ideology. We got to save a society here. And we got to get together and vote all these assholes out that allowed this to happen. I'm cursing way too much because I'm pretty irate right now. Sorry. But that's what you got to do. You guys got to pull together somehow and say, look, do you want this shit happening? Let's get rid of the left, get rid of the right. Let's just go after that. Throw all these bums out, bring the right people in, and then we can go back to tit for tat against each other. But I don't think it's going to happen, though. You can't work any deal with the leftists. They just won't. So Northern Ireland's first minister called the rioters thugs, but had very little to say about the Sudanese national who blinded the constituent in Northern Ireland's largest city. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the stabbing as sickening, fine, but devoted considerably more rhetorical energy to warning that violence against people based on their background would not be tolerated. Now, why the F would they say this when there was no violence against a person of a different background until one of their own got slashed like that? And the guy was definitely trying to behead him. You know, and I heard that as people were coming out of their homes, he was still trying to do it. I mean, that's bonkers town. Oh, they don't seem to realize any rioting that lasts less than a month is not taken seriously here. Yeah. Unreal, man. And you know what? The left supports the Muslims and they argue for the dumbest of things while the real Brits, the real English, the real Irish, where you're arguing for things like, can we save our freaking society? Can we save our children, our daughters, our wives, our sisters from being raped and murdered? Can we do that? Can we stop wasting resources on people who come here just so you, the government, can make money off of them because they're not assimilating? They don't want to be like us. They don't want to live with us. They want us to assimilate to them. It's a disgrace what the governments around the world are doing. It's not just you guys and us. They're doing it everywhere now. No one in the current British
you skipped
or Irish...
the best paragraph.
Oh, I did? I thought I read this one. As of late, as the late Canadian comic Norm Macdonald, loved him. So what the hell was that? What is that? Did you guys hear that? It sounded like R2-D2 threw up. All right. As the late Canadian comic Norm Macdonald so memorably quipped a decade ago, quote, "What terrifies me is if ISIS were to detonate a nuclear device and kill 50 million Americans, imagine the backlash against peaceful Muslims." He's right. No one in the current British or Irish political leadership has earnestly asked whether a government that imports the whole world with inadequate vetting and non-existent assimilation bears some meaningful share of the culpability for the social fractures now detonating like dynamite all across British Isles. Why bother with any introspection? Far easier to just blame the fascist street thug menace. Excuse me. As for the regime media, it's not that the... Where did my mouse go? We just talked about that. As for the regime media, it's not that the press fails to condemn mob violence. On the contrary, it condemns it loudly and with great self-satisfaction. The press's failures is more insidious. It's the deliberate suppression of honest inquiry into cause and effect. It's the refusal to consider why working class people across Britain and Ireland are at a boiling point. That's what I'm saying. Why don't they talk about that? Ask why. Why are you guys so pissed off? The question goes unasked. The fateful underlying policies go unexamined, and the pressure cooker keeps building.
Well, it's obvious why they don't ask, because someone would tell them.
Because they don't want the answer.
And they don't want the answer.
They don't want to hear it because they have an agenda, and the agenda is not their constituents. That's it right there. It's making money and getting rich, and that's what they're doing. I mean, think about it. We went over how they come in through Spain and just money pouring in. You got to go after the billionaires. See, that's what the Trump administration is doing here. They made it a crime to do certain things with money now, and so now that when they throw like in the middle of the St. George Floyd riots, when in almost every one of the cities, they had pallets of bricks just appear. Hey, wow, look at that. Let's go, guys. Right? They had that. Who paid for that shit? Who paid for the delivery? Who paid for the purchase? Right? Well, now they're able to go after them and take them down. Now they have the full force of the FBI, their audit people, to go after them, which is a good thing. Excuse me. I'm allergic to something around here. The relevant facts are not in dispute. The United Kingdom has presided over one of the largest and least managed immigration expansions, and specifically Muslim population expansions in modern Western history. Applications for asylum, legitimate or not, have surged. Vetting has been porous. Integration has been an afterthought, and communities that were never consulted have borne the consequences most acutely. Right there. Vetting has been porous. Integration has been an afterthought, and communities that were never consulted have borne the consequences most acutely. They have been told repeatedly that their discomfort reflects moral failure on their part rather than policy failure on the government's part. This guy nails it. That is British snobbishness at its absolute worst. Call this instead what it is: social transformation without representation, and ruinous social transformation at that. At some point, the people who actually live with the consequences of the elite's destructive policies cease asking permission to be heard. The answer is not to excuse violence, but to take the underlying grievances seriously before the violence erupts in the first place. Starmer does not want to have that conversation. The BBC does not want to have that conversation. The New York Times most certainly does not want to have that conversation. But Belfast is having it, and it's ugly. Worse, it may not stop anytime soon, because unless Western governments stop treating skepticism of mass migration as a thought crime and start treating it as a legitimate concern, the fires will keep burning. Let me see what this first guy says. The last 1,000 years of British history is one of rebellion, anarchy, civil war, and violence. Labour is being as dismissive of people's concerns as King George and Lord North were of the American colonies' concerns in the 1770s. Rebellion is the blood of Englishmen. Labour should beware. What do you think about that, guys? Having trouble streaming on Facebook. What? This may be an issue in Facebook's end. Yeah, it is. Yeah, today we had Facebook went down over here. I don't know about you guys, but it went down for us over here. And I have a stream on there. Let me see. Let me see the stream. Oh, I think Facebook's down. We removed your video. Oh, good Lord. They removed the video. I got to see why. See why. Oh, I got to see this. All right. I'm not going to show it, but the video may contain something that could encourage violence and lead risk of physical harm or a direct threat to public safety. You got to love that. You see that? Oh, my goodness. Fix it. How do we fix it? Remove the warning, request review, learn more about our rule on, yeah, let's do that. We'll do that later. Screw that. I just won't stream on Facebook anymore. We're about to view a stream on Facebook. Yeah. Content is not available right now. Screw that. Let me see this. All right. We're just going to go on with the show. I'm not going to deal with it. Yeah, the Magna Carta. Yep. In all history.
Shall I do my moment now?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to go up this. I was thinking that because at 10 after I saw it. Their governments forced unarming their constituents, and boom, there you go. Exactly. Too cruel. Blinded the deaf man. Yep. I'm going up. I should be going down. Yeah. So you ready for your moment here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
It's a Dr. J moment.
Floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, I have to say this is going to be a little different than I've done in the past, because I'm going to show you two videos. I ran into a topic, and all I could say is, what? All I could say is like, what? So share my screen.
Okay. There you go.
The arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood.
Womanhood belongs to women. Women get periods.
I'm on my period. There is evidence that we get all the other symptoms.
Okay, that's still not a period.
The truth is that trans women do experience periods. I get lots and lots of cramping and back pain.
Periods are not just mood swings or crying or vague discomfort. It's tied to ovaries, to the uterus, to ovulation, to shedding of the uterine lining, to bleeding, specific biological functions. This is the weirdest thing. I would never have guessed that in 2026, we would have so many biological men hoping and praying to have a menstrual cycle where for like 4 to 6-ish days, usually, you are bleeding, you're in pain, you have cramps, dizzy, sometimes nauseous, sometimes moody, you get cravings, you get headaches, you get all this every month. And you're sitting there saying, well, I wear it now, so basically I have a period. It's the same thing.
So trans periods are kind of wild, similar to cis periods.
It's kind of funny that people say that trans women can't get periods when it's like, yeah, we may not bleed, but like, I'm over here weeping at anything and everything.
I may not bleed, which is like required to have a period, but like I have a period because I'm emotional. Can we not do that? Because at this point, it's just a bunch of biological men being sexist. That's all it is.
And I don't know if you can read this comment. It says, I want them to stop saying cis fucking women. We are women, normal women. Yeah. Hallelujah. That's kind of the lead in. That is the lead in, and
it's kind of stupid if you ask me.
Just went to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu's Office of LGBTQ Advancement, which is holding a trans period pride event at a local public library, where they will discuss menstrual equity and the experiences of trans menstruators. And yeah, this is a real thing. Oh, and dinner will be catered, and attendees will be given free period underwear at this free event, paid for by taxpayers, where they will talk about how biological women still menstruate even when they think they're men, and other ridiculous things. So if anybody wants to go ahead and send that meteor along now, we're all waiting.
Wow.
That is something else. I'm going to give you a different page to share.
Okay.
Because this is the crux of the whole thing that that's what it is. Okay. Share that one.
Okay. There you go.
This is the real mic drop moment, if you will.
Can we get in trouble for this? Just read it like it's news.
Yeah, it's news. It says,
yeah, because I did a news thing on this kind of, not that subject, but on trans, and I got a strike.
Yeah, it says trans period pride, and beside it are some menstrual products. Join MASS now and the MASS, I guess, Trans Political Coalition for a consciousness-raising discussion on menstrual equity and the experiences of trans menstruators. This event is free to attend. Please RSVP. Catered dinner, and free period underwear provided to all attendees. Okay, so
wow.
All I could say was what? I mean, this will appeal to the women in our audience, and it's like, holy crap. First of all, this is so misogynistic.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole idea is just like crazy. Not to mention, I've yet to hear a woman say this. Oh, I wish I had my period more often. Has never been said by a woman ever. Ever.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. I don't even have the wherewithal to get angry at it.
You feel sorry for people who think that way.
It's just bizarre.
But then you have trans women that are going to doctors and demanding to be tested for pregnancy.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me? You don't have a uterus.
You get pap smears and things like that.
You don't have a uterus. Where am I going to stick the speculum?
Yeah, but you can't say that.
Yeah, you don't have. Although I'll tell you, I'm waiting for the first breakthrough in uterus transplantation. I'm sure somebody's thinking of that because somebody is going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Some governmental agency will give somebody money to. Anyway, I'd love to hear what people think about it other than it's like crazy. I listen to this stuff and all I can do is what?
Yeah.
What? I can't even come up with an emotion. I'm not angry. I'm looking at it just like what?
It's crazy, right?
It's totally insane.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what people think about this. And yeah. Somebody's Chris saying I stopped playing the crazy game. Yeah. Don't play the crazy game. Don't play the crazy game. And
Bleeding Heart Liberals, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
trans gay parade. It was very interesting to hear him challenge them Their Degenerate Festival. Yeah, he was attacked at the Delaney Hall in New Jersey over the ICE stuff. I watched it. I watched the whole thing, and he was attacked there, and it was Nick Sorter who was there as well, who grabbed him and said, "Come on, state troopers will let us inside the building," and they did. They let him in because they were press, but they were going to kill him just because of who he was. He didn't even talk to anybody. He said to them, they're like, you're just here to cause trouble. And he goes, I haven't even talked to anybody the entire hour I've been here. He said, I said not one word to anybody. But see, he was wearing a mask because everybody else was, and he had the hat on and all that, but somebody recognized him.
Well, I always try to do something different and weird.
All right.
And this was certainly different and very weird.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help but bring it to the attention of our following.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got. Play the outro.
So Louis, did you get to see your aunt? Did you get to see on the news? Did they do the piece? Yeah, very weird is right.
You gonna play the outro or not bother?
Oh, I was waiting until you said you were done.
It's a Dr. J moment.
Oh, you didn't watch it or you missed it? Did they not play it? I don't know. Hang on.
Okay, we can move on.
Yep. Okay. Hang on. All right, let's move on. The next one. Let's go down to the Jabber House. And Islam. Another Islamic guy, right? Drove 60% amazing increase. Oh, yeah, this is good. Watch this. Or let me see the one. See if I could have the one that was Glenn Beck. Let me see if he's in this. In this one. Yeah, the press completely pulled another one on Trump. He said something and they cut it short, and you got a completely different meaning of what he was saying. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. It's this one. Okay. I'm gonna play this one. Ready? Watch this. This is good. Let me get this off. Put it back.
If Trump's claim is substantially true, and I don't have any reason to doubt it, then what he revealed yesterday was not just a military operation. He revealed the United States has quietly been preventing the largest oil shock in modern history. I'm going to explain what happened here in a second. But remember, before the war, roughly 20 million barrels of oil per day were moving through the Strait of Hormuz. That narrow stretch of water is one of the most important choke points on Earth, and 1/5 of the world's petroleum passes through it. Easiest way to understand the Strait of Hormuz is this. Imagine the world's energy supply is blood flowing through arteries. The Strait of Hormuz is the aorta, okay? You can survive a cut on your arm, but you cannot survive a severed aorta. When Iran began attacking shipping and laying mines, the fear was not just that the ships would be damaged. The fear was that the world's energy system would seize up. Gas prices would spike, which they did, but not what they were predicting. Airline fuel would spike. It did, but not what they were expecting. Same with diesel. Food prices, same. Everything delivered by truck would become more expensive, and it did. But they were warning about absolute, I mean, like a death knell kind of shock. They were warning about $150, $200 a barrel on oil prices. They said it could go over $200 a barrel. This system is not built for anything over 130 or really over 130 in sustained oil.
Right.
Okay.
Here you go.
What happened? Well, it never exploded the way they feared. Yet everybody was freaking out, okay, because you are paying more, and it is hard to pay the price that you're paying at the gas pump and for groceries. Yesterday, Donald Trump said this about inflation. Now,
There it
let me
is.
play first what you heard on social media and on most media outlets.
Right.
This is what he said about inflation.
I will. I will. Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now.
And they cut it.
Okay. That's what you heard. I love inflation. But you didn't hear the context.
Yeah.
You didn't hear the context. What was he going to say?
This is completely.
What was he going to say?
Yeah.
Play the full.
They do this all the time.
Context.
Charlottesville.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now. We took out the other night 22 ships late at night with no lights because they don't have any radar because we blasted the crap out of it. We took out, that's why oil's $85 a barrel.
They won't even tell you oil's $85 a barrel right now.
Wait a minute. I thought he just loved inflation.
Exactly.
No, there's context to this. My gosh. Stop listening to these people. If anyone who played that yesterday and leave that as a context, don't listen to them anymore.
Yeah, never
anymore.
Yeah. That's the gist of what I wanted to do for that. They lied again. They did the same thing. They took out the part in Charlottesville where he said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. And they made it believe that they made it so that you believe that he said the neo-Nazis and white nationalists were very fine people. He never said it. He said the exact opposite. Well, they just did it again. They only do this to Trump. They never did this to Biden. They never did it to Obama. They only do it to Trump. That's what I wanted to show you. It's crazy, huh? Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one. Another Democrat. Muslim. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this one. Preach it, brother. Okay, this is hot air. David Strum. So one of the great ironies about the clash of cultures in the West, exemplified in the United States by the different ways that elites and ordinary people see racial and immigration politics, and in Great Britain by the arguments over mass migration and the growing influence of Islam, is that ordinary people were stuck in the middle between two alien cultures. Yes. It's easy to see the conflict as only two-sided, but there were really three. You have the common sense people who want the destruction of civilized values to stop, the people destroying those values, and the elites who side with the destroyers for their own purposes, either out of racial guilt, that is a real thing, liberal guilt, it's a real thing, or as a means of gaining or retaining power as the people in the middle rebel against them. The second conflict between the normies and the elite is perfectly exemplified by this exchange. Ready?
You can't suddenly tell people who've got a perfect legal right to be here that, oh, we're changing the rules now, so you'll have to go. I mean, that you cannot do that. Well, you can do that, but is that really the kind of country you want to live in?
Yes. You hear that? Yes. That's what I want to live in. Exactly. The elite view is that they have created rules that empower the mass migration movement. So it is illegitimate to criticize the rules and change them to something rational because they created it. We let the migrants in, so it's unfair to change the rules. Normie, why? Of course we can change these stupid rules and have to before everything falls apart.
I'm checking
What's this?
Good or bad.
You're checking whether she was good or bad.
Good or bad.
So is that why you sent her pornographic material? Is that why you decided that you'd teach her how to masturbate? Is that why you said to her to try using 3 fingers, because if they fit then she'll be okay for you? Is that why that you said that she would bleed and it would hurt the first time because she's 14? Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I don't understand you.
Listen,
You understand me.
I'll
very,
talk
very
to you
well.
straight, mate. I'm from Bradford. You've been talking to this 14-year-old girl sexually, to asking her to masturbate. Don't come out with bullshit that you can't speak English when you can speak clear English.
But she's so beautiful, and that you've been sitting all day waiting to talk to her.
Sir, I want.
Not a cigarette.
No.
Oh.
I never. I don't. This.
He doesn't know how to answer because he's caught.
You've had no problem speaking at
You
all tonight, have you?
You seem to be a bit tongue-tied at the moment, but when you're bombarding this 14-year-old child...
So if you Google testing it, you should know what you're doing is wrong.
Asking for a picture. Please, 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 please. Is it irritating you yet? Because this is absolutely disgusting.
I know, just please.
No, you didn't just ask for please. You said lots of things about how that you're her lover and how that you want her to send a picture of her.
It's a religion of peace.
In the bath, and how you wanted a picture with her with no clothes on, how you wanted to eat her.
I don't, never.
So what did you want to turn? So why did you turn up tonight to meet her for? Because you only had 40 minutes, didn't you?
You've had phone calls with her. You've spoken video call.
She's underage.
You can't be sorry, man. You've been caught.
Listen. You're sorry. What you sorry for?
Sorry.
What you sorry for?
Why are you sorry?
This.
Okay. I've got somebody here that wants to speak to you, Abu. Hey, Lizzie, go ahead. He can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, Abu.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. It was me that you were coming to meet tonight.
I'm sorry, sister. I don't. This behave.
You can speak a lot better English than this because you've been speaking to them perfectly fine since August. On calls, on voice messages. Can I tell you something? You are the lowest form of human life. You have asked this child and begged her for months for indecent images.
Wow.
You said the words to her. You are 14 years old and it is your first time to have sex. You will bleed and you will suffer tonight.
Your words.
You understand not
right here.
what she said. Just Google Translate.
That was your words.
Yes, Google Translate.
But you
It
said
doesn't matter. You still know what you're saying, don't you? So you can Google what you want.
Oh, this was on a phone call, so this came out of your mouth.
I think that woman's a cop.
Phone call, so it wasn't
This
Google.
thing.
In perfect English, mate. So don't come out with your bullshit now.
Which you've been speaking to her perfectly fine up until this
From
point.
Barkerenda? Yeah, Barkerenda. Yeah.
You
My-
told her to get some paracetamol because it was going to hurt after you had
crazy.
sex with her.
Sex, just eye checking.
No. You sent a picture of a banana saying
Oh my
this
God.
is the size
Just
of it.
I-
I'm speaking now. You sent a picture of a banana saying that was the
Just-
size. I am speaking.
Just eye.
That
Listen
was-
to her.
Let
Listen
the
to her.
lady speak.
Don't
Have some
talk
respect.
over me. I am speaking now, and I know full
He has
well
no respect.
you understand what I am saying. So please don't play stupid with me. Doesn't wash. You sent her an indecent picture. You asked her if she could fit 3 fingers up because you wanted to make sure she
Wow.
could take the size of your penis.
You also asked if she had any oil or anything at her house. for
All right, I think we got to end it there because it's getting a little radical and I could get in trouble. But I mean, you get the gist, right? That they just scammed the guy. They stung him and he fell for it, but they caught a creep. Is what they did, and he's standing there acting like he doesn't speak English. Well, the woman just said you spoke perfectly well for 6 months. You know, isn't that crazy? Yeah, Vinny, get the bat. Yeah, a religion of peace. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Loafer? How you doing, man? You're all right, man. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Yeah. When they say it's a religion of peace, what they mean is when they kill all the infidels, all the enemy, then they will have peace.
You should read the rest of the story.
Yeah, just do him. What, the story itself?
Yeah, there's some more good stuff.
Oh, I was all right. If you want me to do that, I'll do it. I will do it. Let's see which one we're going to say. Under Preach It, Brother. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Right there.
That, my friend, is the violence, or that, my friends, is the voice of common sense. Quote, we don't want to die, see our daughters and wives raped, and have Sharia law take over in Britain. Or we don't want roving bands of criminals destroying things and killing people. It seems pretty rational to me. Allowing this to happen was insane. So stop being insane. What could be more reasonable than that? Who cares if it looks mean? Putting criminals in prison looks mean if you don't put the reasons for doing it so in context. Once you know the context, you want to throw away the keys. You're effing kidding me, Liz Churchill. I wish people didn't see that video. The Minister of Northern Ireland blames Tommy Robinson and Elon for what happened in Belfast last night.
Yeah, really.
Not to my knowledge. I haven't had a chance to speak to the PSNI this morning. Last night it was very fresh, it was very new, but they did advise me that CID would be looking into these threats and
What would
taking them
Elon
very
have to
seriously,
do
which
with it?
has been a comfort, I have to say. But at the minute, we don't know where they've originated from. And you know, Monday night was horrific, and so many people saw that image. I wish people didn't see that image, but unfortunately, many people did. But it was absolutely horrific. But there are bad actors that are jumping on this and actually using it to stir up hate and tension. And people who don't even know who we are. We're not a racist people here. People who don't even know where we are on a map. But yet now we see the likes of the Elon Musks of this world, or we see the Tommy Robinsons of this world, the keyboard warriors who are sitting very comfy in their homes, orchestrating hate and tension and bringing this onto our streets and encouraging this onto our streets. So I think people need to be alert to that. Who's behind this? Like these protests that have been organised. If they're that smart about their protests, why can they not put their face to it? Because they can't. Because these protests have been organised by faceless thugs, in my opinion.
I think they were organized by years of being shit on by your government. That's what I think. But who am I, right? Think of horse thieves in the Wild West. It's not like stealing horses would be difficult. After all, they're out in the open. Don't need keys, are not locked when on a hitching post or anything like that. It was uncommon because people caught doing so were hanged. That's exactly right, especially in Texas. Since horses were vital to survival, conditions were created that made horse thieves think twice, 3 times, or even more before doing something stupid. In fact, here's a little trivia. Before Texas entered the Union, okay, they had a thing called what was it? The Texas Marshals, right? And the Texas Marshals, when they became a state, they had to be changed to they were federal marshals, right? And a lot of them didn't want to do it. They're like, no, we're Texas, the Lone Star State. We do things bigger and better, right? We're gonna remain. We're not doing it, and so they weren't allowed to come along. So they kept themselves, but they had to give themselves a different name. They weren't allowed to call themselves the Texas Rangers or the federal marshals, right? Or Texas Rangers or anything else. So they came out with a name, and the name, like this person said, was that what this group really did was they went after people that stole horses, because horses were considered like everything. It was your transportation. It was your farm. It was everything, right? You know that, right? And so if you stole a horse, they wanted the name, they wanted it to give the message that we will hang your ass. Do you know what it was, Jay? Did you ever hear this story?
I don't think so.
The name they chose was called the Uplift Society. Look it up. It was the Uplift Society, meaning they know we're going to hang your ass. We're going to uplift you, and we're going to hang your ass if you steal a horse. It was pretty funny, I thought, the name that they came up with. Okay. Just in, a 17-year-old girl was raped by 4. I mean, why? You know what? I think it should be law that every politician that votes to let these creeps in, should let them stay in their home with their kids for a week. A 17-year-old girl was raped by 4 Afghan migrants, including 16-year-old boy, for hours in Bristol. My God. Hours. Obviously, the opposite has happened in Western countries when it comes to certain crimes which are tolerated or even celebrated. Rioters are almost never, left-wing rioters are almost never punished. And people even teach others how to do so on Zoom calls and in training. Judges let them go without punishment. Politicians bow down to them and excuses are made for them. You had Kamala Harris out there. She did a shout out during the St. George Floyd riots. She did a shout out on X, which was Twitter at the time, saying to support this group that takes donations in order to help pay the bail of peaceful protesters, right? And not a single a-hole in the media when they interviewed her ever said, well, they were rioters. No, they were peaceful You don't arrest peaceful protesters. Only rioters get arrested. So why would peaceful protesters need that? No, nobody asked her that question. It was the first thing I thought. But it's literally built into left-wing societies. You don't punish rioters unless we have a two-tier system too, two different types. Because look what they did to the J6 people. They have some people that didn't riot and didn't go into the building. They were arrested. And
they weren't even in the city. They arrested them.
Right. The one guy got, what did he get? 21 years or something? And he wasn't even in the city. He got a pardon though. He wasn't even in the city. And they had an informant, an FBI informant that went around with the Proud Boys. And he told them in the debriefing that no, they weren't involved with any groups that were trying to overtake the government. They weren't involved in anything. They said, in fact, the cops were giving them thumbs up because they were pulling people out of the building saying it's illegal. Don't go in there. And yet they because they tried to create a narrative that the right wing was trying to take over the government for Donald Trump. We're all a bunch of members of a cult and we're trying to take over. So this is exactly right. This is what happens. So let's see.
Rather than me having to look to arrest anyone,
yeah,
okay, I need to do some inquiries.
Sure.
Part of those inquiries is in relation to having to interview you about an allegation, okay, about an incident over Facebook, okay. So I can get the matter dealt with. I'm asking you to come down to the police station voluntarily.
Don't do it.
Okay, so we can do what is still a PACE compliant interview. And you've been entitled to free independent legal advice.
No, I don't need it, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was looking to do it on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Is that any good to you?
Sunday. Should be.
Yeah. Can I give you that? That's got my number on it.
Yes.
And then if there is any problems, I'm on duty today until...
Can you not give me any details of it now? And why can we not just speak now? Why do I need to come down there?
Because
It's all right, it's fine.
No, I don't want you to use the dog. I need to do it by way of interview, and the best way for me to do it, and the best way for
What's up, Special K?
is a proper interview.
Well, I've got everything recorded here.
I know, but I can't. I'm not going to do it that way.
Well, do I have to come?
Well, at the moment, I'm leaving it open for a voluntary interview.
Well, I want to know what can I be charged with then? What have I done? What is the alleged crime?
As I say, it's a racial matter.
Yeah, but what's the alleged crime?
Malicious communications.
Malicious communications.
Indeed.
Okay. And how have I? What's malicious? Malicious communications. Malicious would mean that I had intent to harm someone, surely.
So that's what we'll be looking.
Can you confirm that malicious means?
That's what I can discuss with you.
No, can you confirm what your definition of malicious means?
Malicious communications, okay, is making comments on an open forum, which is social media, which is deemed to be offensive.
Offensive.
So.
Well, who cares what's offensive?
Well, I can discuss that with you in more detail when you come and speak to me.
It'll be a very entertaining conversation, I'm sure. But it baffles me that by looking at you guys, you don't seem to be far leftist nutters. So why? We'll talk about this on Sunday. But
that's the best place for it. We're police officers and.
Yeah, well, there's no.
They want him down there because they're going to arrest him. They're going to charge him.
I've got no hate in my heart whatsoever. I only hate for people that prey on the innocent or lie. That's my only hate.
Wow.
So I'll be glad to come and talk about whatever it is on Sunday.
The easiest way.
Yeah, no, of course. You've got to understand where I'm coming from.
We're doing it down at Tunbridge. I'm from Maidstone.
You've got to understand where I'm coming from. You've got two policemen at my house, plainclothes policemen, talking to me about some conversation that I've had on Facebook. Simply about political things, the fact that there's Black Lives Matter destroying London, things like that. In no way in any of them conversations, which I'm sure you've got,
Save that for the interview.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say it now, and then we can say it again there. Nothing that I said in any of them comments is malicious whatsoever. It's simply speaking about the matters that we've got before us. And I'm certainly not on the side of anything evil or hateful.
Stop talking.
Are these two related?
No, he's a whippet, and that's an Italian greyhound. He's just over a year, and he's only 6 months, but I don't think he's going to grow much more. Right, okay. All right, okay, well, I'll probably see you Sunday. What time?
12 o'clock. I'll bring it on there.
Okay.
Any problems, give us a call.
Thanks.
You can always leave a number if I don't answer, and I'll give you a buzz back.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, I would say, are you asking me to come down, or are you ordering me to come down? Because in America, that's a very big thing. When you get pulled over, if the cop starts talking to you, and then he says, "Would you like to step outside the car?" And if you get out of the car at that point, you are voluntarily getting out of the car. And guess what? None of the rules apply. None of them to the cop. None of the rules apply. So if you say to him, "Look, you know, I respect police and all that, but I got to ask you, are you asking me to get out of the vehicle, or are you ordering me?" And if you say, "I'm just asking," then you can say, "I prefer to stay in the vehicle. What can I do for you?" But if he orders you to get out, then he has to follow the book because he's got a GoPro on, and he has to follow the book exactly. And because the judges will tell you, when you voluntarily get out of that car, anything that happens, you have no rights. You gave them up because you volunteered to get out. He can go through your car, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth. That doesn't matter anymore. That's a fact. So I hear these lawyers all the time saying this, like, do not get out of the car unless he orders you. When he orders you, you get out. But guess what? Then he needs a warrant to do this. He needs to bring a sergeant to do that. He has to ask you specific questions. He can't just make demands on you.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're talking to a cop, first of all, don't talk.
Yeah.
Second of all, ask them, am I being detained or am I free to leave?
Right. Exactly.
If you're being detained, you're in trouble. If you're free to leave, leave.
That is exactly correct. Let's watch the rest of this. It's only seconds long.
Come on, guys. In.
Oh, all right, it's over. That was very interesting, though.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's more to the story, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Let's play a fun video. Here we go. It's a baby Trump video.
Donald, the Cybertruck drives itself. No wheel, no pedals. You sit there and trust the algorithm. I've driven it 100 times. It's flawless.
Elon, it looks like a refrigerator from the future. I don't trust people, and you want me to trust a metal triangle?
It has a 99.7% safety rating. That's better than every human driver alive, including yours. Your guy ran a red light last Tuesday.
That was strategic. He was making a power move. Very different from a robot guessing.
It doesn't guess. It processes 4 million data points per second. It sees things before they happen. It's basically a prophet on wheels.
Fine. One block. Why is there no steering wheel? Where do I put my hands?
See? Smooth. It already mapped every pothole, pedestrian, and traffic light in a 2-mile radius. You're safer in here than the Oval Office.
It just turned left. I never go left. Everybody knows that.
It's taking the optimal route. Faster, safer, more efficient. This is the future, Donald. Accept it.
The future just ran a yellow light, Elon.
It calculated we had 1.3 seconds of clearance. That's Tesla engineering. That's precision.
That's a coup. A very large, bulletproof coup. Pull over! I'm calling Pete. I want the beast. The beast doesn't think. It doesn't calculate. It does what I say.
The beast? Sir, you lasted 14 seconds.
Those were 14 very informed seconds. Best test drive in history, probably.
That's hilarious.
I love those baby Trump cartoons. They're awesome. Oh, here's another one. I got to show you guys. These are just awesome. Whoever creates these, they do a really good job. Watch this.
I'm not coming. Very busy. Running a country. Running a war. I can't take a Saturday off to watch you cry at an altar.
Dad, I'm getting married in 2 hours. You're supposed to walk me down. Actually, no, that's not how it works. But you're supposed to be here.
I'll FaceTime in. Very modern. Very efficient. Elon does everything by screen and nobody complains.
Mom is here. Both moms are here. Do you understand how stressful that is without you?
That builds character, Junior. I built my empire under stress. you can survive a wedding. Smile, say your vows, don't cry on camera. Very simple.
Dad, the photographer keeps asking where the father of the groom is.
Tell him I'm running the free world. That's a better photo than any wedding. Put a cardboard cutout of me at the head table. Make
Baby
sure
with a
it's a
beard.
good one. The one where I'm pointing. Very powerful image.
You're really not coming?
I'll send a gift. Tremendous gift. Probably a hat. Congratulations, Junior. Very proud. And don't worry, I'll be at the next one. Junior, I'm not coming.
I'll be at the next one. Oh my God. That's funny.
Is that like introducing somebody as your first wife?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like, you look exactly like my next wife.
Yeah.
Let's play one more. I'm playing another video, not a, I think it's Conor McGregor thing.
Look, the liberals may be hating on Conor McGregor this week, but I am clapping for the man. This pro UFC fighter is saying out loud what most people don't want to admit. If you don't know the story, an African immigrant tried to behead a man in Belfast with a kitchen knife. I would show you the image, but it is very graphic. Here are some of the things that Conor McGregor retweeted. Open borders migration equals a direct threat to public safety. Then he posted this on X, say it loud, say it clear, refugees are welcome here, with the photo of the man being decapitated. Then he retweeted this, when your governor is allowing immigrants in and giving them a right to remain, you'd think that they wouldn't enjoy stabbing people or attempting to decapitate them. But that's where we are in Ireland. And then this was retweeted, low IQ, schizo-Sudanese man somehow coordinates all this by himself, works out the loopholes in immigration law and everything. Who helped him? Every person and organization involved should be held accountable. I'm glad he's speaking up to his millions of followers because frankly, it forces the conversation. It's not racist to say this. It's not racist to not want people in your country who don't care about your values. People where beheadings and the R word are treated as normal. It's not racist to point out huge cultural differences like eating domesticated animals that we don't. That's just basic common sense. It's not racist to say, hey, we shouldn't behead people. That guy had been in the UK since 2023.
Wow.
You gotta ask, how did we get here and what needs to change?
Exactly.
You
How
know,
did we get here and what needs to change?
Yeah, these people are crazy. It's like, you know, families that have been here for 400 years are colonizers and don't deserve to be here. But immigrants that want to come over, well, they got the perfect right to be, you know, here and be citizens.
Exactly right. All right, let's do another one. Get rid of the preach. I got to clear some of these. Sorry, guys. I got to clean up. Let's see. What do we want to do this time? There's a couple good ones I want to get to. Hang on. So where's the one?
Want to talk about HUD?
HUD? Which one?
HUD yanks federal
There
funding.
it is. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Good call. Yeah, look at this. You believe this shit? All right. So HUD yanks federal funding from Los Angeles Homeless Agency and launches an IG investigation into potential fraud. Of course, there's fraud. It's California. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, has immediately suspended federal funding to the lead homeless agency in Los Angeles amid allegations of obvious fraud and wanton mismanagement. HUD's Inspector General, Brian Harrison, has also launched an investigation into the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority and its leadership, Fox News Digital reported on Thursday. The scandal-plagued agency has received nearly $1 billion in federal funding since 2021, even as the homeless crisis exploded on city streets. They could end the homeless thing overnight. Put the ones that are criminals in prison, put the others in mental institutions. Get them drug treatment. Solved. Oh, but they have rights. Yeah, rights to shit and piss on your front lawn and leave needles so that your children could step on them. Yeah, that's what their rights are. What about your rights? Sorry, I digress. The White House Task Force to Eliminate Fraud, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, said in a statement on X Thursday that I have a telephone or something, that it is taking bold action alongside HUD to target and eliminate massive potential fraud against American taxpayers. The Inspector General sent a letter to LAHSA's board chair, Wendy Gruhl, and what a name, and its CEO, Gita, boy, these names, Gita O'Neill, reportedly detailing conflicts of interest, financial mismanagement, fraud, lack of oversight, and more from the homeless agency, which has faced efforts by the city and county to take it over. HUD cannot ignore wanton mismanagement and public funds. HUD's mission is to reduce the plague of homelessness in America, and they've been feeding into it until now. The IG's letter said, according to Fox, turning over billions of dollars from American taxpayers to an organization under investigation and suspected of gross misuse of federal funding and obvious fraud does nothing to reduce homelessness. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. They're going to scream racism because in their racist minds, only black people and people of color are supposed to get this money. They're the only people that are homeless. Right? You just wait for it. Indeed, diverting dollars from worthy programs to La Hustle merely makes the homeless crisis worse. One conflict of interest cited involves a former La Hustle executive director $2.1 million to her husband's Santa Monica-based nonprofit. Well, imagine that. He had a nonprofit. Former Lulu CEO Valicia, I'm going to name my child Valicia Adams Kellum, resigned last year after the blatant conflict of interest was discovered. A former La Hustle employee who was fired after complaining about the agency's gross mismanagement accused Kellum of trying without success to delete 2 emails sent to her mayor, Karen Bass. By Karen Bass. The whistleblower also alleged that Kellum became extremely inebriated and got a lap dance from a female consultant that she had just hired to do work for La Hustle while attending a conference in Washington, D.C. Kellum had a base salary of $430,000 per year during her tenure. Guys, I'm a senior programmer in another life, right? And I don't make that much. I make a really good living, but I don't make that much. This woman makes a salary to sit in an office all day and to commit fraud.
I didn't make
as a
anywhere
doctor
near that as a physician when I was very busy and active.
Yeah. Think about that. And this woman is sitting. She's the flat ass society. She sits on her ass all day long, and commits fraud with the money that we are paying. That just kills me. And Gita makes $370,000 a year. Scott Brady, executive director of the White House Fraud Task Force, condemned O'Neill's salary on X, saying, in other words, taxpayers paid for the high 6-figure salary of an executive running a fraud-filled organization, also paid for by taxpayers. Notably, a federal judge concluded last year that LASA had committed obvious fraud after it repeatedly requested full funding for an 88-bed shelter, even though the agency knew the shelter was only operating at half capacity. Well, you know what? With the Biden administration in charge, you think they were going to care? They got a lot of voters this type of fraud was set up by Barack Obama. A lot of it. He set up the pipelines to get federal dollars to go to cities so that they could get NGOs and they could get this fake medical crap going on. And why? So that people get jobs, people get paid, and they vote Democrat. It's all buying votes. So according to HUD, LASA failed to verify at least 2,300 housing sites for which it was responsible, and 70% of the contracts for those sites did not disclose any expenses over the prior year. No expenses, because they didn't do anything. Moreover, in November 2024, the city controller's office found that LASA also failed to spend $513 million in budgeted public funds in fiscal year 2024. In addition to the now terminated federal funding, LASA also receives funding at city, county, and state levels. Quote, under President Trump's leadership, HUD will fund results, not corrupt failure or the homeless industrial complex, Scott Turner, HUD secretary, said in a statement to Fox. Year after year, hundreds of millions of tax dollars were funneled to LASA with little accountability. Meanwhile, homelessness skyrocketed. Taxpayers will no longer bankroll an organization that puts its own self-interest ahead of the Americans it was created to serve. We don't have to read anymore. Now you know why there's homeless all over California. Now you know. Because they're making bank on it. Right?
Of course they are.
I made the same amount minus the 400,000. Yeah. Let's see. Don't forget. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, think about that. Now you know why there's so much homelessness. And I think it's when you ever have look at any blue city. And if you have an issue that, there's down and out and the trodden and the people of color and all, we got to give them all kinds of money. I guarantee there's fraud going on there. And the only reason why they even claim that they're going to create an agency is because they know that they're going to bilk it. Yeah, this is not my beautiful house. Exactly. Yeah, they're just going to bilk it. Let's see. I want to do federal appeals. Ukraine war has lasted. People were finally weighing on the open border threat. Yeah, let's do another one on. Let's see. Come on. To continue, I don't want to create a free. Screw you. The Telegraph. It let me read it earlier, and now it wants money. Yeah, let's do the Bill Gates thing. There's another unreal. Why do we let him remain in the United States? So Bill Gates testifies that Epstein tried to use affairs as leverage during House hearing. I said when I read this earlier, I'm like, who didn't know that? That's like he's testified. So I guess now they're trying to say that, all right, now we have confirmation that that's what was going on. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates told congressional investigators Wednesday that convicted child predator Jeffrey Epstein attempted to use knowledge of his extramarital affairs to pressure him into maintaining a relationship, according to testimony delivered before the House Oversight Committee. Gates appeared voluntarily before the Republican-led panel as part of its ongoing investigation into Epstein's network of powerful associates and contacts. While Gates has not been accused of any wrongdoing yet, lawmakers have sought answers about his decision to continue meeting with Epstein after the financier's 2008 conviction for child sex crimes. Well, he had the money, right? So in prepared remarks, Gates acknowledged that spending time with Epstein was a grave error in judgment. I'm sick of that. You should not be able to say, it was a real big mistake. No, you did it knowingly. It wasn't a mistake. A mistake is like when you go to pick up a glass and you drop. That was an accident. It was a mistake. I'm sorry. Or I filled the form out wrong. I really thought I did do it it was a mistake. But no, you don't say it's a grave error in judgment when you're still hanging out with a convicted pedophile. Sorry, it's not a grave error in judgment.
Is that kind of like, oops, I'm sorry, I tripped and my dick fell into your wife?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dr. Chade. And fact check her. She's a doctor. She's allowed to say that kind of stuff. The billionaire told lawmakers that he knew Epstein had a criminal record, but did not fully understand the scope of his offenses when discussions began about potential philanthropic and global health initiatives. As, quote, as the public can now see, based on what has been released in the in the files, Epstein was working to use information about my infidelities. Of course, it was a honey trap. That's what he did for a living. Gates admits that he had been unfaithful during his marriage to Melinda French Gates and said Epstein eventually became aware of those affairs. According to Gates, he later concluded that Epstein was attempting to use that information to regain influence over him after their relationship deteriorated. Quote, these affairs had nothing to do with my interactions with Epstein. He added that Epstein combined truthful details about his personal life with what he describes as false claims in an effort to gain leverage. Dum-dum, you knew that's what he did to thousands of other people, and you think he's not going to do it to you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, is Bill Gates like that stupid?
He must be. He
it's
must
like, you find if somebody like that finds out you've been dipping your wick and
yeah. Well, you know what he used to do? He every year, I've read biography. My career is pretty much because of him. Okay, so I've read a lot of biographies about him, and one of them it said that he had this woman who he, as an associate, who is very good friends with him, better looking than his wife, and every year he spends a week with her on a vacation. And he told the wife, "Oh, nothing's going on. We're just associates.
We're just good friends.
We're just good friends, and we're going. She's a lesbian. We're just good friends, and we're just going over stuff."
It's
You know,
a
we're just
work
going
trip.
over stuff.
It's a work trip.
Yeah, it's a work trip. Gates told lawmakers that Epstein's efforts ultimately failed and that he cut off contact with the disgraced financier. He was unsuccessful in this effort, but it shows some of the ways he tried to leverage his interactions with me further his agenda. I should never have met with Epstein in the first place. No, but you were greedy. Based on what I know now, I understand that even if he had delivered the new donors he promised, it would not have justified associating. You're only saying that because you got caught. Gates said he now believes Epstein deliberately cultivated relationships with influential figures to enhance his own credibility and protect himself from scrutiny. Now, how many people, show of hands, how many people here think that Bill Gates didn't know that before he became friends with the creep?
How many people have a shock?
I don't see any hands up because
Yeah.
you're smart people.
How many people had a shocked face listening to that paragraph?
I know. Let's see. Jobs development, gene drive. Oh, that's right. Transhumanist freaks. Yeah. Shit fuckery. We know Epstein procured for him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They had the same agenda in FFS. Yes, this is all true. So let's see. Let's go. I see now that he sought to build an image of legitimacy around himself using connections to reputable and powerful people to deflect scrutiny and attempt to rehabilitate his reputation. Nonsense. He was using you to blackmail you.
Yeah.
That you would do, like if he had an order, like give the Chinese the inside codes to whatever servers Microsoft's coming out with next year, because he still knows all the people there. I was so focused on the possibility of raising funds for global health that I allowed the goal to override my better judgment. Remember we talked earlier about those vaccines? Global health? Really?
Yeah, I think the problem was he allowed his littler head to think for him instead of his bigger head.
Yeah, that's probably
that was the problem.
That was probably it. Yeah. Let me see. MAGA equals low IQ. Hey, what's up? Look, it's Nelson. Trump is Epstein's bestie. Laughed my ass off. Hey, Nelson, what's going on? Hey, Jimmy from Philly's back. Jimmy, Nelson's here. Look. Poof. What's up, Nelson? There's certain words I want to say right now, but I can't because I'd be completely removed from Facebook or from YouTube. So I just got rid of them. Who cares? Right? I won't repeat that, Lou. Let me see. Dow surge. There we go. We'll do this one for all the the economy's in the shitter, because of Donald Trump with a war that wasn't necessary. No, it was very necessary. You're just stupid. Dow surges 900 points after Trump says U.S. will soon sign a deal. This came out yesterday with Iran, and oil falls in price. So it's $85 a barrel right now, I believe. But like I said earlier, we got to go through all the high-priced gasoline before we can get to that, because they would lose money. U.S. equities gained on Thursday, boosted by a rebound in chip stocks after President Donald Trump called off the strikes on Iran scheduled for this evening and said the U.S. is going to soon sign a deal with the country. I don't think there's going to be. I think Iran is once again scamming them just to buy time. And how much you want to bet, since they haven't handed over the 400 and some kilograms of uranium at 60%, how much you want to bet that they're doing all this stalling so that they could enrich it to 90 or above? Who am I? I don't know anything, right? So
I don't think he's allowing them a chance to do that, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't know where the uranium is.
Yeah, but he's keeping them off ballots. They don't have a system in place to enrich.
The uranium could literally be out of the country already.
Well, that's true.
It could be out of the country, and some other country is enriching it. The S&P 500 gained 1.75. We don't need to read that garbage. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, he continued. We have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. What is pretty final shape? It should be done, and it should be done pretty quickly. He used pretty too many times. Equities had rallied around earlier Thursday after Trump said in a Truth Social post that he canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. The naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until this transaction is finalized. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 2.58% to settle at 87 then. It's now at like 85. All right, markets were on edge prior to those comments. Oil prices had risen after Trump said in a separate Truth Social post that the U.S. will be attacking Iran very hard tonight. He also said at some point in the not too distant future, we will be taking Carg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets. Now, see, to the uneducated Trump information people out there, that was a setup by Trump when he said that. He was trying to get Iran to realize, holy crap, he's going to take Carg Island, and holy crap, he's going to take other oil infrastructure points, and we got to do something. So they came up with a lie and said, yeah, we'll sign, right? Markets don't seem to be fazed by the Middle East conflict, said Thomas Martin, senior portfolio manager at Global Investments. The inflation reports that we've gotten don't show that the higher price of oil is really pushing through to other areas. So the underpinnings of the economy are still fairly strong. Yeah, that's because Trump did a lot of things to make them strong in the very beginning of his second term.
But you know what they didn't say in there that to me is the most important message of that article is that how much what Trump says is accepted and believed. Look how the markets reacted just from his statement.
Yeah.
People believe it. People trust him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Funny how when oil prices go up, gas goes up right away. When oil prices fall, it takes forever for gas prices to fall. Yeah, I understand that, but it's because it was the same thing under Biden. You know, they say, oh, we got our inflation down, right? Well, no, you really didn't, because all that shit that was made at the high price under the inflation has to be sold at the same price. They can't just see libnuts are stupid. They think, well, you just drop the price down if it's low now. No, because then why did you make it? Yeah, the markets are rigged for that. You're right. But why would you drop the price to the current level when you paid more to get it manufactured? Right. And so it will take time. And the reason why is because, I mean, to get the oil out, okay, but now you got to take it to the processing plants and they got to process it into gasoline. So I don't know.
But what Commander said, I agree with too. Maybe it takes time for the price drop to filter through, but they're sure pretty quick about putting it up.
Yeah.
You know, oil goes up the next day. The price of the pump is up.
Yeah. You want to see some freaky things that I hope we're allowed to show? Here we go. This will become normal soon.
She's not real?
Oh, so they don't think I'm real, huh? Well, tell me how real this is.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This guy's good.
By the way, this is going to be normal. This is going to be completely normal in just a few years.
She's not real?
Oh, so they don't think I'm real, huh? Well, tell me how real this is.
Had to see that twice.
Yeah.
So that's like a little robot or something?
Something like that, yeah.
By the way, this is going to be normal. This is going to be completely normal in just a few years.
Crazy. That's like yikes. That is just crazy.
Yeah. Do you want a robot girlfriend, Rich?
Oh, look at this. We got him in again. Nelson. Let's see. Moderated me because I am right. No, I moderated you because you're Nelson and you're a dipshit and you tried to ruin my brother's channel. That's why I moderated you. So I just don't like you, Nelson. Never did. You're a pussy. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. What is this? $2.60 per liter. 2 years ago, it was half, even though his price of oil was near the same. I don't know. Right to your congressman. Do you have a member of parliament or something? You can. I don't know what to tell you, man. All I know is I just paid. What was it? I paid like $3.89 the other day. I literally took a picture of it so that I could post it online and go in PA, baby, and people be like, "This fake AI," you know. Let's see, Dr. Jade. I'm still not playing the crazy guy. Exactly. We're lied to every day about everything. Yeah, we are. I think Trump does a lot less lying than the average politician. I'm not going to say he doesn't lie. A lot of times he lies because he has to, because he's not gonna like give away his shit. We lead the G7 in food inflation. Yep. That is right. Sucks. It's all going to turn around soon, I believe. Anyway, here you go. Over the last 48 hours, Canada. Let me pull it up.
Oh, I want to see this one.
Yeah, I do too. I was hoping Commander would be here because I want to hear this. Over the last 48 hours, now this is written 3 days ago, okay?
Commander's here.
Canada, what's that?
Commander's here.
I know, I said that. I wanted them to be here when I read this. Over the last 48 hours, Canada has descended into radical madness. Okay. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. The last 48 hours have been really radical. So what's going on? Well, for starters, Canada has been sold to everybody as America's polite, safer, more reasonable neighbor. Yeah, they're the guys upstairs and, keep it down there. They're having too much fun. They're supposed to be really calm, orderly, functional, sure, maybe a bit annoying, but basically stable Mabels. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We always thought of Canadians as like really nice people that we could spend a weekend with, but we would not want to be around that niceness because we're from the U.S. and most people are not nice in our neighborhood. Okay. But thanks to all the radical left-wing stuff, that shucks image is getting a lot harder to sell. The housing market is a disaster, and it's about to get worse, according to a new report, the Globe and Mail. Nearly 1 in 10 mortgage holders in the Toronto area won't be able to refinance their loans or renew them with a new lender in 2027 if home prices remain at current depressed levels, according to a Bank of Canada report. The Central Bank's Financial Stability Report, released late last month, estimates 9% of borrowers in the Toronto region could not qualify to refinance their loans next year. Wow. Nationally, the bank estimates the level to be 4%. Wow, that's still a lot. That's because these borrowers' property values have fallen significantly since they got their mortgages. These borrowers will not be able to take equity out of their homes to pay down debts, one way of refinancing a loan. They also will not be able to refinance their loans in other ways, such as lengthening the time it takes to pay back the loan or simply renewing a mortgage with a different lender. Now, are they doing this? I'm going to ask this before I read on. Are they doing this because they want the hedge fund guys to buy up all the fucking homes so that you don't have to move? You will own nothing and you'll be happy. All right. You don't have to move, but they'll lease it to you at a fair price. Right. You'll pay the same mortgage value, but you'll never get ownership. And Canada's economy is circling the drain, and President Trump just pounded the last nail in their coffin. Maria Zelaya. Breaking. Major breaking. Trump just signed an executive order that will functionally wall off the Canadian export economy from the United States. They pissed him off. Sorry. Your government has pissed him off so many times. Every Canadian company shipping to the U.S. now must post much higher per shipment bonds, be CTPAT validated by U.S. Customs, disclose beneficial ownership and domestic assets, provide foreign tax IDs and detailed supply chain data, lose access to informal entry for low-value shipments entirely. The reason? Foreign importers can't be trusted to comply with U.S. law. The trigger? Canada's documented failure to enforce its own forced labor ban. 80% of our exports go south. The Prime Minister yesterday said, we expected this. Canadians who export to the U.S. sure as hell didn't. How about that? How about that? Why are they doing it twice? Oh, they're just showing everybody. Yeah, well, that's done.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the government up there, let's see, Kevin Durant, don't know. $5 a can per can. All right. I don't know. Exactly what happened to me in 2008. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? Belfast is popping off. There's another good one. Let's do it. I might have. What's that? I might have to supplement. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back. I might have to supplement my diet with some cedar bar. Oh, man. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. All right. Belfast is popping off. Masked Irishmen declare war on migrants. There we go. We got to love the masked Irishmen. I'm in. After the attempted decapitation of an Irishman by an African migrant in the streets of Belfast, the local men are taking back their country in a very rare and very real way. From the Telegraph, a Sudanese man accused of attempting to it was on video, to behead a man on a Belfast street used a loophole in the asylum system to gain entry into the UK. What was the loophole? This one's breathing. All right, a 30-year-old man was charged with attempted murder after a male in his 40s suffered significant injuries to his face, neck, and back on Monday night, the police service of Northern Ireland said. Details of the attack, which took place in Kinnaird Avenue in the north of the city, were released after graphic footage of the stabbing was shared widely online. On Tuesday, John Butcher, the force's chief constable, said the suspect was believed to have traveled from Sudan to Paris and then to Dublin before taking a bus to Belfast in February 2023. There, he claimed asylum and was given leave to remain in the UK in September 2023. The so-called Irish route involves migrants flying to Dublin from Europe, sometimes on false papers, before traveling unchecked to Northern Ireland by land to claim asylum. The UK and Ireland share a common travel agreement that allows free movement across the border without routine immigration checks. He's doing the Heil Hitler. If I were the government there, I would say we're not bringing any more migrants in. It's just not happening. We're not doing asylum claims because you don't have to. See, international law says to claim asylum, it has to be in the next country you come to that does not have a war or is persecuting you politically. So that's why I say the overwhelming majority of the people that come into this country through our southern border are not from Mexico. And Guatemala's not having a war. I don't think any country down there right now is having a war that could harm them. So we're supposed to follow the law by letting them in and have asylum, but they're not supposed to follow the law and tell them get lost. Go to Mexico and apply for asylum there. You know, it sounds like the same thing's going on here. The so-called Irish route involves migrants flying to Dublin, Europe, land to claim asylum. The UK and Ireland share a common travel agreement. Of course they do. I don't know who's getting more money, but Belfast is popping off and is burning right now as masked Irishmen roam the streets, yanking migrants out of their houses. They've had enough and they want their country back. Of course, the globalists are more outraged by an Irishman with a beard than an African who tried to behead a man in the streets. So from Zara Hussein, the far right with the usual flags are protesting in Parliament Square in London because of the attempted murder and the beheading, the attempted beheading. It's far more smack you in the face than saying murder. A man with a can of beer in his hand shouts, "England is for the English." Disgrace. Well, England is for the English.
England for the English! England
Yes.
for the English! England for the English!
It is.
England for the Europeans!
It is. I mean, come on. What are you going to say? England for the Muslims. No, you're not going to shout that, especially with that crowd behind you. Asylum housing districts have gone up in flames. Was there anything I missed? Because I want to read this shit. All right. Belfast is burning. Protesters torching asylum seeker housing. Multiple buildings set on fire. People demand the deportation of all illegal immigrants and foreign criminals now. UK politicians failed Britain. Locals have had enough. Belfast is burning. Protesters. Did we just read that? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this. Apologies for any inconvenience. Yeah, they're setting things on fire because they don't want these people in their country anymore, and the government's doing nothing. It's the Bubba effect I was talking about earlier. Fires are burning everywhere. Let's see. Let's watch. Look at that. Hopefully no one was in there.
Yeah, all I can think is that, you know, if this is going on, maybe some of these people will self-deport.
Yeah. I don't there. I think my fact checkers, my personal feeling on it is they're all performing an Islamic swarm, is what I think they're doing. And so they're not going to leave. They're doing a swarm. They're not leaving. So Tommy Robinson, I know a lot of you guys don't like him. Belfast is burning. Britain's politicians have failed us all. Yeah. Crazy. And the government's not going to sway them. Bought and paid for it. There's probably a song in there that I'm going to get dinged for. That's all right. You know, YouTube right now makes it very easy for you to take that mark away, and I like that. Wow! In Belfast, masked men burned a glider bus to the ground, Newtownards Road in Belfast. Wow!
What's he saying? You. There's the hard power.
Look at that.
Look at that there.
Wow!
Look at that there.
That's crazy, man. See another one. Look at the fires down there. Oh.
They've had enough.
And see, the thing is, what I want to see is like here. You know, I want to see if they will ever find out the people who decided to make the policy to bring these people in. How much were they getting paid, and paid by who?
That'd be an interesting question. Were they paid? How much were they paid, and by who?
We played a video about a month ago where there was one of the asylum guys that came through Spain and then finally got to London and then went to wherever he wanted to go. Well, he was like a guy that made sure that people got through the path. You know, when they got off the boats or trains, whatever, when they got off the boats and they went this certain path. In fact, if you remember, guys, they put the footsteps exactly where to go to what building outside of the subway system. And so he said, yeah, they're all getting paid. He said, who's getting paid? And this was Tucker Carlson had actually hired a guy to do the documentary, and he went over there. It was a pretty good documentary. And the guy said, everybody. He said, the politicians. He goes, they get money for every migrant that comes in. He's like, from who? And he says, from billionaires. Like, why do they want to? They want to change the continent, and that's what he said. And man, I would like to find out who those people are. Armed Irishmen have set up checkpoints, and they're going through cars searching for immigrants. You know, it's funny because when it was, what was it? It was Lebanon. Lebanon was a Christian country. Okay, it was a Christian country, and then the Muslims took over, and they did checkpoints along the roads, right? And over there in the Middle East, your religion is on your driver license. Okay. And if it wasn't Islam, they took you out of the car, they murdered you, and they gave your vehicle to some Muslim that needed a vehicle that was now living there. All right. They did that. Nobody said a word. Right. But look at this. It's the very beginning. What's the date on this? It was June 9th. Okay. It was 3 days ago, and already they're complaining about it. So
Holy shit, that's scary. They were tracking the cars, mate.
yeah, they're doing checkpoints because they don't want them in there. Yeah. Yeah. So they bitch about this I mean, these people have a legitimate gripe because your government has done nothing to stop all the murders, the crimes, the rapes, right? They've done nothing. And so I think you have a God-given inalienable right to say, I'm taking over. I mean, they call it vigilantism, but so you're supposed to say, that's what the liberals here do. They want to take away our Second Amendment rights, but then they're letting the worst of the worst criminals out of prison all the time. It's just, it's all part of the plan. Is a mental disorder. What's that?
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah, I think it is.
They want to keep us afraid.
Yeah.
Disarmed, which makes you more afraid.
I know. Isn't that goofy?
Because if people who are afraid are easier to control.
That is true.
People who are afraid and have no way of defending themselves are much easier to control.
Yep. Let me go take a couple of videos. Yeah, I don't want to play that one. Yeah, here's one. Is this that woman? Yeah. Now, guys, I'm going to redo this. This woman is a homeless woman I'm about to play. Okay. Listen to her speak. She's educated. Okay. And I feel sorry for her being there. Let me, where is it? I got to find it again. Here we go. I'm going to share it here. This woman, she's educated. Is it showing? Yeah. So I'm going to increase it. Listen to this.
My name is Shanika Renee Johnson. I'm from Los Angeles, California. 39 years old.
You live in Skid Row?
I live in Skid Row.
And then did they come down here and try and pay you to vote?
Yes.
On a ballot?
Yes.
How much they pay you?
$5.
And they said, here, come and vote for these candidates?
Yes, sir.
They told you who to vote for?
Yes.
Yep.
So they told you to vote for Karen Bass or Cynthia Rahman?
Karen Bass.
Did you vote for Karen Bass?
Yeah.
For $5? Yeah. And they're doing this for a lot of people?
Yes.
How often do they come down here?
Every 4 years.
Like 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
You know,
to get the ballots?
Yep.
Wow, to vote for Karen Bass?
Karen Bass or whoever else.
Cynthia? Yeah. Crazy.
It's illegal to pay people here to
been down
vote.
I've been down here 4 years.
4 years? Yeah. So you've been seeing this happen all the time?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a whole business, huh?
Most definitely.
And would you call it fraud?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would.
And call it fraud behavior?
Yep. You're right, Chris.
Taking advantage of the homeless community?
Yeah.
Yeah? You get votes?
That sounds bad. No. But you know, at the time I didn't know that was going on. I was just trying to make $5, you know?
Yeah.
It's all good.
I get it.
But I didn't do the fraud.
Yeah, no, you're not.
No, not at all. I like her. Yeah. I like her because she was honest, you know? But she's on Skid Row. Probably drugs. That's probably what her reason is. It was all drugs. Let me get to another video. There you go. This is great. Scott Jennings. Another Scott Jennings story. I love Scott Jennings.
Yeah, he's always good for a laugh.
He's the only sane person that's on that show. I do like Abby Phillip though, and I know she's a liberal, but she tries to keep decorum on the show because she doesn't want it to turn into like a Rachel Maddow or any one of the other goofballs.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but my impression for as little cuts as that I've seen is just she's interested in keeping the peace once the liberals have had their say.
That's exactly right.
Then, you know,
then she steps in.
Steps in.
But I've seen her when she puts her hands up and they all stop talking, I've seen her turn to a liberal and go, that wasn't fair what you just did. And because it's not true. And the liberal won't argue back because they know they'll never get on her show again. But that's why I like her. Now, she is a liberal. She believes. She's a believer. You know, but I don't mind you being a liberal as long as you're not trying to cut my throat because I'm not. And also as long as you're trying to be fair and balanced. You know, the Fox motto, as long as you're, and you see her more times than not do that. There's very few topics that she will go off like a lunatic. Right. All right. So Scott Jennings nailed the Dems 2026 strategy. This is pretty funny. I watched it on CNN last night. And then this happened. So let's just, all right, I'll read up to it because it's better if I read it. CNN Scott Jennings understands what the Democrats are really running on, even if they don't realize it yet. It's the impeachment of Donald Trump. Sure, Representative Hakeem Jeffries said his party isn't focused on that. But come on, man. Biden, come on, man. We all know that's the main agenda. And unfortunately, that's all the Democratic Party's base is thinking about. They want Trump impeached and removed. That's what they want because they're lunatics. They don't care that he did nothing wrong. Okay. He was on CNN last night where Democratic operative, I can't even pronounce, Zakchikchil Hinojosa denied that it was her party's 2026 strategy only for Bakari sellers to, what does that mean? To pretty much admit it was. So let's.
I believe Al Green filed an impeachment resolution. That's going to happen.
Really
but also, you're going to have Democrats who are talking like Sherrod Brown, who's talking about things like inflation.
Let me ask you a question. If you went to a Democratic political dinner tonight and somebody asked you in front of the crowd, should we impeach Donald Trump? And you said, no, what would happen to you? Would you be thrown out in 3 seconds or 1 second?
Democrats are not running on impeachment, and
Yeah,
that is
they
not
are.
what they're talking to the American people. No, they aren't. It's
are.
a fact, Scott. They are not running on
They are.
I mean,
impeachment.
don't
They
ask
are
me.
running
I mean,
about
I think the
crisis.
president of the United States should be impeached, but
There
I
you
ain't
go.
running for that.
All right, next for us.
There you go. That is what they're running on. And that's why a lot of people, because you know what? They don't have much else to run on. They don't have, like, think about it, guys. What have they talked about? They're bitching about Trump constantly. Yeah, she's a left-wing ass. Yeah, you know, you don't see her on other shows and podcasts. She's an ignorant lib. That's exactly true, Chris. But the fact is, when she is on her show and some libnut goes off, she does try to quell it and keep it calm, you know. She does do that. And I think because she does that, she's going to have a show for a long time. Because people are sick and tired. They do it on Fox too, but people are sick and tired of people screaming at each other across the table. They're just tired of it because why are you going to watch that unless you want to see somebody throw down?
Yeah,
But,
hey, listen, I'd watch it if they threw hands.
Well, I would too. But the fact is,
but that's just because I'm a sick and twisted little puppy.
Yeah. But the thing, you sick, twisted freak, as Glenn Beck would say. But I like the fact that she does try that. Like she's a phony because she's a liberal, but she does try to quell. She does. Let's see. Attempting to produce that name hurt my brain. Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? I'm sorry, dude. There should be compensation. Let's see. Next one. Yeah, I don't want to play that one. That one will make people very upset. John Cornyn's clock is heated. That's funny. Hey, everybody's going on John Cornyn now because what a piece of work. He couldn't push for the Save America Act to pass. Hold on. Plotting revenge. Here we go. There's another one on the Dems that they're just plotting revenge. This is from Red State. Dems plotting revenge for when, not if, they take over Congress this fall. They really believe it. Now, they might. Who the hell knows? They just might. Cheating, all that shit. If you need, and if Trump doesn't bring, gas prices are starting to come down. They will go down soon. And then you're going to see all the manufacturing jobs flooding in. They're starting now. He's had 3 good months of jobs reports. I think it's 3 now. He's had 3 good months of jobs.
We need the gas prices down, though.
Yeah, I know. But he had 175,000 last month. So everything's starting. It's kicking back, but it's just in time. If you need any motivation to do your patriotic civic duty and cast your vote in this fall's midterm elections, Democrats seem only too happy to help you out with some startling intentions that they are not seeking to hide. In fact, they're using their vows of retribution to ignite their own followers, still suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, even after 11 years. What the nation has been put through because of that affliction. So the Democrats, of course, are not offering any actual new. I say this all the time. They have run out of ideas on how to make Americans' lives better. And the best way to do that is to get the government off the people's back. That's how you make people's lives better. I learned that from Ronald Reagan. He said, when you get the government off the people's back, ordinary people do extraordinary things. And I've always believed that, especially in America. Because in America, we have less red tape. That if you truly still can, if you want to be anything here, you can. And some people would have bigger hardships than others, but you can and hurdles, you can get over them. You can legally do that. You can be what you want to be here still. It's a little harder than it was maybe 20, 30 years ago, but it's still there. And still in the United States, the way that you stay out of poverty is you do several things. Number one, you finish high school in the United States. Just finish high school, okay? Number two, get married. All right, but number two is get a job, and it's a job that you want to stay in for a long time, okay? And because a lot of guys I know, they go, fuck that place, I was there 5 years. Yeah, now you got to go back to the beginning again because you're not going to get the salary that you had at 5 years doing the same type of thing. So you get the job and stay with, then you get married, all right, and you have children. Your chances of in the United States right now, your chances of becoming poor, like living in poverty, are low when you do those three things in the United States. It's still true here. Okay, which I love. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have millions of people. I did all that, motherfucker. You know, it's like, well, what's the problem? I have trouble making friends, you no good motherfucker. You know what I mean? You got people like that. Sure, they're going to fall through the cracks, but for the most part, that if you do those three things, you will not live in poverty. The odds are for you. I want to see all the people go, shut the fuck up, Rich.
But you know, Rich, if I was advising a high schooler today,
right,
I would, especially boys, I would tell them not to bother with university.
Oh yeah, neither of my sons have.
Yeah,
neither.
I mean, university. If you go into like a profession,
a doctor, a lawyer,
dentist,
right?
physical therapist, something.
Yeah,
But
something like that. Something that you're going to use for your job, for your livelihood.
Otherwise, go into the trades.
Yes. Yeah. Just do that. You know, my son's getting out of the army soon, and he wants to go to electrician school. He wants to be an electrician.
Yeah, if
That's
he's
what he
been
wants
in
to do.
long, if he's been in long enough, his VA benefits will pay for him.
Yeah. Well, they send him his last 6 months. They're going to pay for it then. Like his last 6 months in, they send him to school then. That's what the deal was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the deal was that he cut. But yeah, right now he's they're sending him to Benning, back to Benning to do extra sniper classes. He's already a sniper, but he's a sergeant, and they signed him up to fly drones. Can you believe that? He's going to be a drone pilot, never leaving the building. You know, he's going to be flying drones. That's what they wanted him to do it. And I think they gave him that because they want him to re-up, because they like him, because he's a good sergeant, and the people under him, they like him, right? But he's tough and all. But so I think that's why they gave it to him, because there's a lot of guys at his fort that they want to leave because see, they did the drone thing in the United States and it didn't work out well. Okay, and Hegseth came in and said, no, we're going to bring it back because we got a different way we want to do it. Because we don't see, Trump does not want troops on the ground. He just doesn't. Sure, he'll do it. He'll commit them if he has to, but he'd rather do, planes and drones and ships. He'd rather do it that way, if it has to be done at all. But so now they're going to redo the drone program. And I think because all these guys are making requests to leave the fort because infantry is they're not pushing infantry to do anything new yet. And they think that they're being left behind because of that. So they don't want to leave their posts by saying, I sat around for years and moved boxes in warehouses. They don't want to do that. They want to train, they want to be ready. And I think that's why they're pushing certain people that they don't want to leave into better things. And I think that's what they're doing to my son. So, because we had to talk about it. I think that's what they're doing. So, all right. The Democrats, of course, are not offering any actual new ideas or better policies to improve the country, mind you. That would be responsible in what the founding fathers had in mind. They just want to improve their power position, the ones they lost after a 4-year conspiracy to prop up Joe Biden as the alleged commander in chief. They do have a stark admission of what they intend to do when they erase the Republicans' slim majority control of the House of Representatives, and they hope also take over the Senate. They're detailing the numerous investigations they intend to undertake of people they see as Trump supporters and the actual imprisonments that they even want of some who have worked for President Donald Trump and his programs and policies. I have some thoughts on these threats. Leave yours in the comments. Click on the flag when you hear this week's commentary. Let's see what this is.
Andrew Malcolm back for Red State's VIPs.
How long is it?
Listening to what Democrats are talking about doing when they take control of Congress in November's midterm elections, I realized it's not too soon to start preparing for our side. Notice they're saying when they take Congress, not if. Here's the key question for any American to consider. Are you better off now than 5 years ago when Joe Biden's Forsaken administration faced its midterm report card? Do you want to return to those days of Joe and Jill? Let me provide some fodder for thought and sharing if you so desire. We endured the botched troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. 13 Americans dead from a homicide bomber, an indecisive Joe Biden countermanding Pentagon decisions and advice, resulting in widespread civilian panic, leaving billions in new military equipment behind as gifts for the Taliban. We failed to advise our allies on the sudden pullout, the countries that had been with us for 20 years there. Desperate civilians who had helped us for 20 years, clinging to the outside of departing jets and then falling to their death.
Okay. So watching the country drift through the sad, foggy days of Joe Biden's gladly departed presidency, I often found myself thinking of my sadly departed father, not because he was anything like that guy, but because of the pathetic, unfeeling campaign by the Biden crime syndicate, led by its real boss, Jill Biden, to sell the old man who had trouble with screen doors as sharp as a tack and clearly fit to serve as president for a second term. Not because he was capable, but because they wanted the positions and powers that came to them from that. Give me a break. He had trouble with screen doors and uttering a coherent sentence, even when it was written out for him. One term was bad enough, but to think that a wife of that long and advisors who had served him for lackluster decades would try to prop the old guy up for their own ambitions and purposes was criminal. I think it's elder abuse. Remember that June debate night in 2024 when his never that alert mind anyway went blank? Jill claims in her new memoir that she feared right then and there that he was having a stroke. So what urgent action did the loving wife take then? She took him to a victory rally, then to a Waffle House photo op for media, then on a long plane flight to another state for one more late night mass rally. If my father had displayed a fraction of the senility and faded competence of Joe, and anyone even hinted at pushing him into some activity like that for their own desires, I would have been all over them, even if it made me unemployed. So in this week's Sunday column, I called Jill's behavior exactly what it was, elder abuse. Yes, I think it is too. Now she's making a handsome sum from a sad attempt to cover her tracks. Read that commentary and see if you agree. The comments are still open. Yeah, that was total elder abuse. Everybody was making buck. They're all making bank off of Joe.
Yeah, I said that when he was up there. I said, this has now become elder abuse.
Oh, yeah.
At least when he first got in, he could finish a sentence.
Yeah. Joe and Kamala. He said Jill. Yeah. Exactly. Hang on. Let's see. What's next? We'll do another one. Let's do Indefensible. Crockett. Crockett's always good for that.
I thought we'd heard the last of her. Oh my God.
I know. And there's some, she's like the fungus that never goes away. Indefensible. Jasmine Crockett goes off the rails in jaw-dropping defense of Carmelo Anthony, the murderer. It didn't take long in the aftermath of the April 2025 incident that saw high school track student Carmelo Anthony admittedly stab high school football player Austin Metcalf to death at a football stadium in Frisco, Texas, for the usual suspects to inject race into the matter. So a black guy stabs a white guy, and the black guy's the victim. This is what they're trying. Take away the race and say, okay, this guy stabbed this guy. So what they're doing is they're racist. They're hiding behind race because there's no other reason why they would support him. Anthony, who was 17 at the time of the offense, is black. Metcalf, who was also 17, was white. They went to rival Frisco high schools because Anthony claimed self-defense, saying Metcalf pushed him after a confrontation over Anthony being under the rival school's tent. The family started a Give, Send, Go legal defense page where Anthony was portrayed as the victim and over $600,000 was ultimately raised, contrary to some reports early on in the investigation that said the family was using the money raised on lavish items like a car and a new house. Give, Send, Go indicated excuse me, that no money from the fundraiser had been withdrawn at the time. Tensions between members of the community were already high before the start of the trial. And the fanning of racial flames and calls for violence by some of Anthony's defenders has only intensified in the aftermath of the guilty verdict that was reached on Tuesday, with even the racist Black Panther, excuse me, with even the racist Black Panthers group. I got horrible allergies for like the last 2 weeks. Group reportedly hovering outside of the Collin County Courthouse in McKinney before the verdict was read. Volatile situations like these require people in positions of power and or influence to be willing to step up and call for lowering the temperature to prevent riots and the like from breaking out. Rather than be that person, though, Representative Democrat Jasmine Crockett, she's Texas 30. She ran for a state office, has taken it upon herself to be a racial arsonist, going so far as to question whether the weapon used to stab Metcalf to death was actually a deadly weapon. Are you kidding me? Insinuating Metcalf was being racist, which in her view seemingly justified Anthony's actions, killing the guy. Comparing the grief of the Metcalf family continues to go through to the agony Black women live in every day, and even implying that if she had been Anthony, she might have done the same thing to Metcalf. This woman is a freaking psychopath. She's a psycho to say shit like that. Watch the post-verdict clips below of Crockett, some of which came from her pocket. We're going to watch that right now. Here we go.
From everything that I understand, which I wasn't at the trial because obviously I got a day job, but it's my understanding that Carmelo ended up stabbing, puncturing, I don't know what this tool was that they talk about, knife, or some refer to it as a tool. He ended up hitting Austin one time, and it was about where he hit him. One time, 2 inches. This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me
He died.
stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at how intentional, like how bad was this?
Wow.
She doesn't know if it's a deadly weapon. Austin Metcalf died.
That's what I said. He died.
That's by definition.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. He died. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue. So let's go. Where am I?
Also, I mean, can we just be real about this? Like, who was, I mean, like, why are you rolling up on somebody and being like, get out? Like,
Correct.
This is, to me, this is the culture that is being instigated, mostly because of like, you know, y'all know how we say on the internet, don't let your president get you fucked up, right? Like, because people
So she just said that. She's a lawyer and a rep. All right.
they get real bold with us right now, like, you know, and this whiteness and this replacement theory crap that
What does any of this have to do with the case?
they on and all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, we the victim, because the fact that, you know, any kid would feel like it makes sense to walk in and see this particular kid. I mean, we've all interpreted that there was a race component to this. Yes.
No.
Yeah, he stabbed him because he's a white boy from another.
Well, there's that race component, but the fact is, these are sports teams. Do you know how sports teams compete? You don't go into the other sports teams area
with the knife. You don't go into that other area.
Mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't do that. You don't do that.
You don't.
And that's why.
And
that's why the guy told him to get out, because
it's not his area. Get out of the area, because the guy was being a smart ass.
Yeah,
I heard the guy was being a smart ass. He goes, "Yo, you don't belong here. Get out of here." And he didn't. And they're trying to say you don't belong here because you're black. Like there was no black kids on the other team, right? No, it was you don't belong here because exactly what you're saying. It's not your area. Why don't you just leave? And he got stabbed and killed for it. And the way she's talking, you didn't stab him 5 times. No, once was enough, bitch.
Oh, yeah, it's raining, but get out.
Wow.
Like why? Like why?
Why do you think? I mean, oh my God, these people.
Yeah, it's a competing sports team.
Oh wow.
And I guess now pushing somebody like teenage boys do.
Don't say that, Lou. God, I got
Pushing somebody like teenage boys do is now an offense worthy of capital punishment, apparently.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Isn't it nuts? All right, we got time for one more. Pick one. What do you want to do?
Pick one. Okay, let me look. Let's look up here at the top list.
Yeah, we never even get to that anymore.
Okay, I got one.
Yeah.
Have a look at the Texas loser, John Cornyn. I actually want to hear that one.
There you go. Here, we'll bring it up. This is from Twitchy.
Because he's out of a job, but he's trying to make Trump's life as difficult as possible.
Texas loser John Cornyn tries to insult Scott Pressler. Y'all know who Scott Pressler is, right? He's from Pennsylvania. He's the guy with the long hair. I took a picture with him the night of the Kamala Harris debate with Trump. I was there at the event. He was running the event. I talked to him for a while. He's a good guy. He got, I believe it's now 5 counties flipped red in Pennsylvania alone. But he has been outside. What's his name? Thune's office, like every day for the last several months, waiting for him to come and say, "Why don't you pass the Save America Act?" Like he calls him, texts, he got everything right, and he's part of the in crowd, and he just Thune just doesn't want to do it.
And Scott Pressler is not paid by the Republicans, I don't think.
No, he just won a seat. He just started his political career. He won a seat here in I forget what the county, not Butler. I forget the county, but he won a seat, and it's a committeeman. So that's the first place where you start, and then you move up. So more power to him. I hope he's a good guy. All right, our tagline here at Twitchy is to own the libs. When it comes to politicians, that usually means they have a D after their name, and there is no shortage of their horrible takes on X that we can produce, if you will forgive the expression. Unfortunately, there are far too many politicians with an R after their name who are standing in the way of conservative policies to make America great again, meaning they hate Trump. We won't go so far as to call them leftists in most cases, but they're definitely lib adjacent. But this year, many of those rhinos are finding out that conservative, even normie America has had enough of them. Bill Cassidy, out. Dan Crenshaw, out. Thomas Massey, who isn't so much a rhino as he is someone who has just gone bat poop insane, out. A 3-term incumbent Texas Senator John Cornyn, 18 years, out. While Cornyn is a reliable Republican vote on the easy issues, his support of red flag laws for gun ownership, along with lax border enforcement and immigration policies, ensured his recent landslide loss to State Attorney General Ken Paxton in the Republican primary. If you guys don't know what a red flag law is, they want you to rat out your neighbor if he has a gun. That's a red flag law. They'll like, you can call up and say, yeah, he came out and he brandished his gun when you did no such thing. But the red flag law says that they got to go out and investigate. They take your guns. They charge you. You got to hire a lawyer, all that bullshit. Yeah, and he was for that.
Yeah, a couple of things just to clarify. First of all, there's some sort of accusation of inappropriate behavior that
that's what they'll do.
There is a limited but growing list of people who can do that, including anybody you live with, family, friends, doctors now, social workers. Anyway, there's a growing list.
And each state is different.
And the other thing, each state is different. And the other thing is, and this is universal, the first hearing that's held, you have no representation. You are not allowed to be there. And the first indication that you have that the red flag order has been issued is when the police show up at your door.
Yeah.
And by the way, somebody goes in with a request for a red flag order. The judge is sitting there and saying, "Oh, somebody thinks this guy's a nut." Yeah. No judge turns those down, because
I know
if they do and the guy does something wrong,
then he's but yet when it comes to these lefties and the illegals that are in here, They release them all the time. Why is it? Knowing that they're going to be violent, because they have a history of violence, but they let them free anyway. They have the no bail DAs in all these blue cities. No bail or very little bail.
Bail is racist, you bigot.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Thankfully, in an exchange with GOP voter registration paragon Scott Pressler on X last night, Cornyn reminded every Texas voter why they made the correct choice with Paxton to face off against certified Democrat weirdo James Tallarico in November. It all began, innocently enough, with Pressler noting a polite conversation he had with Cornyn about the SAVE Act in a chance encounter at the airport. Here we go. Just had a conversation with Senator John Cornyn at the airport. I was very gracious and asked him to pass the Save America Act. Fair enough. 80% of Americans support voter ID. It gets better. Voter ID requirements in our elections. And as anyone who has ever had a conversation with Pressler can attest, we know he was honest about being gracious to the outgoing senator. I believe him too. But what followed from Cornyn was simply bizarre in its snide, childish tone. Called him a grifter. Because he said, just had a conversation with Senator. So he calls him a grifter. What? Scott Pressler is a grifter? He paid his own expenses to travel around the country to turn counties red, right? And to push to vote for Trump. There is no American who works harder to help Republicans win elections. And Pressler does it the old-fashioned way with shoe leather and a shoestring budget. He's hardly getting rich off his efforts. Exactly. And he wrote, "Phew, talk about your sore losers." After Cornyn's mean-spirited attempt to insult Pressler dropped the gloves big time. Let's read this over on X because it's big. Okay, so he writes, "Dear Senator Cornyn, I approached you respectfully at the airport." Let me make it bigger so you guys can see. I approached you respectfully at the airport, extending my hand and introducing myself. We were at the ticket gate with literally dozens of witnesses, passengers inches away. Despite a quib reply back from you, I kept things professional and focused on the Save America Act. While I respect that you say you want to ensure wins this November, I speak for millions when I say that voters will be more likely to vote upon the passage of the Save America Act. Voters see what's happening in California and wonder why our Senate isn't doing everything in its power to secure our elections. Did you know that former Congresswoman Michelle Steele, Republican California, lost by 653 votes in 2024. Did you know that former Congressman John Dwyer, Republican California, lost by 187 votes? I have no doubt that the Save America Act would have prevented these losses, right? Because they were illegals in California that are voting. They use the illegals to vote because they get arrested. Who cares? They're illegals, right? Why are we normalizing an expectation for California to count votes for weeks after election day like Spencer Pratt's election? In North Carolina, the State Board of Elections found 34,000 dead voters on voter rolls. Fact check me. CC Senator Tillis. He's another piece of it. How can Americans have confidence in our elections? And how are Americans going to be inspired to vote if you don't legislate as the majority? Last, and I mean this with the utmost of respect, for the $150 million that was spent on the Texas Senate primary runoff, we could have built massive voter registration, get out the vote operations in every single swing state. While I understand it might be difficult to contemplate an American citizen doing this work because it's the right thing to do, I'm proud to say that I don't take PAC money, not even from my own organization. I can't be bought, which frustrates the political establishment. My one singular mission is doing right by the American people and delivering legislative wins that the popular vote delivered in 2024. I'm on the way to the Texas GOP convention to help ensure all of our Republican candidates win this November. I hope you'll do the same. I hope you'll do the right thing and encourage your colleagues to pass the Save America Act. Let's win big. What's this? Scott, while I vehemently disagree with your positions, you're at least respectful in how you present it. I hope more people can keep an ad hominem attack. That's when you know you're dealing with a libnut. Ad hominem attacks. That's how you know.
Did Cornyn respond? Do you know?
No, he didn't. Otherwise, it would have been there. Trust me on that. Yeah, it would have been there if he did that. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already, please. It helps us a lot. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Be here next week. Yeah, I'll be here next week. Tomorrow night, again, I'm on 40's show tomorrow night That's 5:30 Eastern time. If you can make it, do it, please. I'll put the link to it in the description here, and I'll probably put a post on YouTube as well with the link. So have a great weekend. Have a great week. I'll see some of you tomorrow night. Appreciate it. Good night, Jade. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Everyone.
Talk to you guys later. Said I'll check it out. Yeah. Thank you, brother. All right. I'll see you guys. We're out.